Welcome back to the HCL, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at our first game of the day. We have Whiskey Koka going up against nFaculty here. And, well, this is, of course, once again a best of one. We are on the 7th Playday. And to the left side of the map here on Cursed Hollow, we see Sypho on the Vala for nFaculty, Green out on the Brightwing. We have Hole on Azebo, Lotus on Chen, and Exxon on the Stitches. To the right side, Whiskey Koka with a bit of a changed lineup. We have Vontil on the Falstad, we have Yovel on the Anubarak, Nasty is playing Tychus, Tangje on the Uther, and Alex the Proc on Arthur's in this game right now. nFaculty yesterday in the Go for Heroes tournament, they had a bit of a rough time. They actually lost against Dignitas, and well, let's just put it like this. Green Hour said himself in the chat later on that they were not really happy with their performance. They pretty much blew that quite a bit, even though Team Dignitas did actually a very good job, considering that they are kind of new to the Heroes of the Storm scene and weren't really known as a team before that. But as you can see right now, this is the HCL, this is the league, and we need to try and find out what nFaculty can do today. Whiskey Koka hasn't won a single match in the league just yet, and they of course want to change that. They had a couple of problems just recently when they were like in a situation where they lost a few of their team members, which was of course really annoying to them, and now we're going to see if they were able to recover from that. There's a tri-lane down at the bottom for nFaculty. Looking at the talents real quick, what we have there is currently, well, Bribe and Bribe. Ooh, no pick for the Uther just yet. Interesting. Uther waiting with his first pick. That's something that I didn't really expect here. I'm not quite sure what he's waiting for. Maybe waiting for one of the 4 talents to unfold. But yeah, at this point we have still the tri-lane at the bottom. Green out, Holon, Cypher still there. Yovel picking the Anubarak in this game to make sure that they have some additional interrupt against the Ravenous Spirits on the thingy, the Witch Doctor, the guy with the mask, that always asks why there's straw in the corner. So, oh, Alex the Proc actually will pull him off, a bit in trouble for a second, but he's able to move back. Now there's the Conjurer's Pursuit now for Uther, finally going for his first pick now as well. And to the top lane, what do we have there? It's the Chen against Nasty, a very nasty Tychus that we have there. We already know that Tychus' character is not the best. StarCraft 2 taught us that much, and they're still going up against each other, but Nasty's already on half HP. Down at the bottom lane, the pressure against the tower. Here comes the stun, lockdown, Howling Blast, where is it? They go for the Nazebo, and Holo is in trouble. But nice, pull him off. That saved him for sure. Green out with a last second save. Job well done. The bans in the game, Abatha and, well, you were never gonna guess this one, but the Sergeant was banned. Sergeant Hammer was banned. This seems to be like one of those sexist things when faculty just says like, no, we don't want any girls on your team. You have to play only with guys, and that's exactly what happens. They are a bit hypocrite about that because, well, we have a Vala as a range DPS on the lineup, and that is of course where a lot of the damage will come from for nFaculty in the later stages of the game then. We currently see level 5 versus level 5. No kills so far in the game, but there might be a first one as suddenly Exxon is caught in a bad spot, but Brightwing jumps in. Green out, wasting no time here. Good hook against Yovel, and the Polymorph to follow that up. Can they get the Anubarak? Oh, the shield! Wow, that was a close one. Hits the W, goes for the Carapace there, and they are just barely able to bring them back to safety. So at this point, what else do we see? We have that first tribute spawning on the map. And, well, there comes Montil moving in very low in hit points. Gets healed by Tangje. Tangje is trying to get into a better spot here. There's still an attempt to channel. Nice attempt to hook, but Exxon misses it, so he doesn't get anybody close enough to take him out. Another interrupt against Holo. Double interrupt, by the way. So 2 of the skills are now in cooldown. Exxon at the front line, once again trying to just block for the capture. Oh, the Anubarak initiating and gets beaten up immediately. That last patch definitely didn't help him a lot, and now we have also Nasty in a bit of trouble. Does Exxon have the hook on cooldown? Yes, he does. No hook attempt by him, and of course the channel is already there. Oh, the kill against the Falstad. Stitches just came in the last second, slams him into the ground, quite literally, using the slam. And I love how we have as the slam icon, by the way, like this chopping thing, where you just like the cleaver, where you just like try to cleave them into the ground, and if you have a bird there, that bird needs to get wrecked. Today there's chicken on the menu, and Falstad down already. So, at this point, if you look at the rest of the talents that we have Mercenary Law taken on 7 by the Nazebo, which is a pretty interesting talent for him to take. Usually it's the Git bin, but we have every now and then teams trying to just like dominate the map with Mercenary Law to mercenaries, and that's also what we are going to see from Whiskey Koka. They are aiming for the same talent, using it on the Anubarak now. So, pretty interesting with that. We will see both teams angle as for as many of those mercs as they possibly can. Alex and Yov are already at it, trying to go straight for that, and of course Bribe is helping out. So if they coordinate that well, and the Anubarak, or on the other hand of course the Nazebo for Team nFaculty are just like joining up with the Falstad or the Brightwing for those things, then they can do quite a lot with it. We have another one already coming in. With another one I mean the Tribute. Tribute number 2 is going to be on the board in just a bit, and there it is. We have him right click already. Do we have a stun? Tungjae is interrupting it just for now. There's Holo at the front. The setup for Whiskey Koka is not really a good one. Oh god, he misses the stun. The Impale doesn't do anything, and now there's 2 tributes against them. Not really a lot of time that they were able to buy there either. Now both lanes are being pushed by the Mercenary Lord enhanced mercenaries, and well, Holo, oh yes, he gets sealed. No, just a second too late. That Venom definitely took a lot of hit points down so that the coil could finish him off then in the end. Down to the bottom lane, that was Falstad is trying to get a bit of an experience lead for Whiskey Koka, and that actually works very well for them. Having one hero down soaking the experience, another one up at the top, did wonders for their EXP bar. So right now they are the first team to go straight for the level 10. And well, with that level 10, they are going to be able to just like force maybe a fight or catch one of the bosses. They might try and go for that. The problem really is that the timing window is extremely small. And with that small of a window, they might not even do anything with it. They just take experience on the lanes while 2 of their players are again trying to take the mercenaries, and of course that's now again the enhanced camp, and that's gonna push in just a few seconds up at the top. That was already taken out, and now with another tribute being there, this is of course a situation where we might see Whiskey Koka claiming a tribute finally, and they need this one. They need this one desperately. The hook attempt is failing, and nFaculty is trying to catch one of the heroes. Lotus jumps in, shock and all, hits 2, a really good one. The Ravenous Spirit on the other hand pushes them back. Green out, about to die, could maybe survive here. Yes, he heals himself up, but 2 heroes down, 3 down. A hook against Nasty might finish him off as well, and the bird is already low too. He's not losing too many feathers over this, but well, 4 of his allies are dead, so he's a very lonely bird right now. And that means not only curse, but it's also gonna mean that they have to deal with one of the bosses very soon, since the golem is currently being attacked. It's time for the boss, and that's not the nice kind that you might meet in the office. This is actually the badass guy that has a couple of skulls wrapped around his neck and is trying to just hit you. I don't even know what that is that he's trying to hit you with, but it hurts. It hurts a lot. So the Grave Golem here, the boss is already captured. That's the first one. Definitely going to push in that bottom lane pretty hard. With that first tower already gone, the curse still active, no ammunition is being fired at this point. And yeah, they are going to lose a fort for sure. The question is, will they stop at the fort, or is it going to be even more than that? 6 kills against 1. The Anubarak using his E through the Burrow Strike to move down here, and immediately impaled to at least stun 1 or 2 of the heroes out. Doesn't really hit too much. And Whiskey, well, they are in a bit of trouble at this point right now. And another problem that they're going to have is that with the 13 talent that we are having soon for nFaculty, then a spot where that Brightwing is going to get his rewind, and rewind on that character is just plain dirty. There's no other way to put that. Stitches of course has a blast when there is a curse, since he can always just go straight for that. Oh! Okay. That might not work. Yep, Von Till, I'm not quite sure what that was, but it didn't work out at all. I mean, that was a very, very obvious attempt to capture the camp there, flying straight over the team. He knew that the flight path was there, so yeah, I'm not quite sure. I was thinking about starting an epic fail series, and that would be one of the top 5, I think. That was a bit ambitious. Like, I'm not quite sure if he didn't see those heroes there, if the vision didn't allow him to get an idea of where they were positioned, or if he just assumed that he would be able to jump in and out fast enough. But as it just was proven, that's not working for him. So, not really the best thing. Boss taken at the top, and that's also a bit of a mistake from the Falstad, since they couldn't contest because of this. 14 versus 13 right now. Rewind taken also on the Falstad himself, who will of course now be able to use that for his W and his Q and get more damage in. Double barrel roll at some points might bring you to safety. And the camp down here. Oh, the Gorge is being used already. Gets the Gorge. Lotus moves in here. Oh, nice Shokuno hitting 4 immediately. Alex is down. Tangje eliminated. The stun finally against Holo. Nice interrupt for the Ravenous Spirit. 2 down for both sides. But we have Yovel in a very precarious situation here now. But Exxon is also dying. Exxon dead. The bird dies. And now they're jumping in again against Nasty and Yovel. Nice stun from the Anubarak. But as you can see, this camp is going to be caught and also enhanced by the Witch Doctor. So that backfired quite a bit. It was an exchange 3 versus 3, but in this situation a victory for nFaculty since they get the camp. Besides the camp that was being called, we have also one camp down here that was already able to just deplete the ammunition on the towers and put some damage in there too. But, well, let's see why exactly, or how exactly that's going to work in the middle. Talking about the Mercenary Camp, it's also a question that apparently came up earlier in Twitch chat. Mercenary Camp does not work with the boss. It only works with the small camps and the hard camps, but not with the boss. That would just be a bit too much. I think if that would be the case, every team would at least have one Mercenary Lord hero in their lineup when they play on a map with boss. So, yeah, it only works for the hard camp. And actually I can show you right now. So Siege Camp gets increased damage and the Bruiser Camp gets increased health. That's what you're currently seeing with the tooltip here. And that's what we're having. Mid lane, yeah, that creep, that dirty creep. I saw that earlier, like the creep was actually mouthing off against Stitches, and Stitches was just waiting for an opportunity to show that creep who's boss, and that's exactly what he just did. Nice capture on that tribute, and that, by the way, means that Whiskey Koka didn't take a single one over the duration of the entire game. Howling Blast. But at this point in time, I actually think that Stitches is a little bit lazy. The reason that Exxon is missing most of his hooks here against that is because Stitches is a little bit lazy these days. Like, I'm not quite sure why, but he's just like watching TV the entire day. And if he actually hits a target, then he suddenly has to do work. Look at that again. Hits the fort, doesn't even go for the false set. He's just basically saying, dude, if I hit something, I have to eat it, I have to digest it, I have to do something, and I'm not feeling like playing. That trailer that Blizzard posted there, Stitchen doesn't want to play. Stitches wants to just like chill, relax, and play PlayStation. So just leave me here and I'll stay in the back and throw a hook every now and then into the nothing, and then it's all gonna be good. Ah, but this time he actually catches one, so apparently his team was able to motivate him. Yovel is being stunned out by the Rain of Vengeance, but he's moving back now as well. 1 kill, meaning that we are having a 4 versus 5 again, and with now 5 heroes on the board, 4 team nFaculty, they're moving in. Stitches once again with a misshook. Exxon really not having the best day. Like, he needs to... In Germany we call that Zielwasser. That's something that he desperately needs, and usually we're talking about spirits there. So maybe if he had a couple of those, he would be able to hit those hooks a little bit better. I was very, very impressed by the hooks that we saw yesterday from my Insanity in the team fight, the game against Team Dignitas, and I talked to the Dignitas players afterwards, especially to Chris, and he said, yeah, he hated that guy with passion, just because every single time they thought they were safe, a hook came from nowhere and was catching one of them out of guard. So, well, we have one more camp taken, once again with the extra damage on the Siege Giants. And now with only one camp up on the map, and that being the boss camp, this is usually the time when we are seeing both teams converging towards that and trying to either lay a trap or catch the boss. And there's the trap already. The problem is if you have a Stitches against you, he is very likely to throw a hook in there, and that's exactly what just happened. But Stitches is now suddenly isolated from the rest of the team. He's thinking about moving in. Odin is being popped. Howling Blast hitting 2. Tangje is about to die. He's caught off guard, and yep, Tangje already dead, but Vala is in a tough spot too. Vala about to go down, no moves back for now. Brightwing being stunned out, Howl is dead, or Yovel is dead, and yes, Brightwing most likely not going to survive this, but he is able to help with taking down another hero, and as you can see with that quick gorge on Nasty, a 4th one is dying now as well. Only the Falstad survives. Apparently, there is not a lot of chicken on the menu today. Falstad, well, actually, to be honest with you, like, he died a couple of times, didn't he? So, yeah, we have 15 kills against 5, and also, of course, another boss about to be taken. Cypher is still there in the Vala, and his team is probably shouting against him, like, dude, get the hell out of there, just, like, heal up, we're good, we can deal with all of that. Vontil catching maybe the first tribute for his team. That's of course one of the opportunities that at this point nFaculty didn't really get, since they were busy with the boss at the bottom. And now Vontil flies back and he's immediately, well, let's get the hell out of there. I know what happened the last time. Hard camp is also about to be taken. This is now bad news. With the boss pushing in the bottom lane, they need to react. That's going to be a hard camp, enhanced by the mercenary law talent. And with all of that happening, these camps over there to the right side are going to be very much abandoned, and that also is true for the boss camp. So they could go for one of those next, because the bottom lane is still being pushed by that boss and they need to react. They are taking already the Siege Giant camp with the extra damage. That's going to help with the boss, but yeah, they need to deal with it, and that means that we're most likely going to have the second boss taken by nFaculty too. We had Tangje for a second just waiting over there, trying to give some information to his allies. He's even looking at the shrine down there, but as you can see, he finds it finally. They're starting to move to the top, but it's still not the entire team, and bam, there we go. Rushes in, gets gorged. Great gorge by Exxon. Very good gorge. And why is that? Because he made sure that the Uther never reached the circle. So now suddenly over the hook, Nasty is also in trouble. Oh my god. This is just like bad. This is really bad news. I mean, we're having most likely Nasty gonna die now. His ultimate is already down. And the Tigers, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but he's not going to make it there. The hook is missing, but the flying kick is still on the Chen, and he's taking that chance. Moves in and takes him on. So we have the boss pushing in the top lane. Down there, Arthur's taking the second tribute. nFaculty doesn't really give a shit about that. I mean, they don't care. They're just looking at this and they're like, damn, we can kill a keep right now. And so they go straight for that. The bottom keep, has it suffered some damage? I don't even know. Well, not quite, but the wall has been breached. So with them moving up to the top lane now, they take a keep down. And that boss is still moving in. Well, as is getting a bit ugly. Actually, they push it to the left and it takes on the tower now. Yeah. Going straight for the tower, trying to kick that, and of course with the hard camp now also being taken. That's a very, very sustainable camp that they have there. A lot of people argue that it's much, much better to go for a Siege Giant camp and enhance that than a hard camp, because of that damage output that you have. If you can just run with them and protect them for a while, you find yourself in a very good spot. Talking about Siege Giant camps, that's exactly what we've been talking about. I mean, that lane down here at the bottom, just give that a look. That's currently like a double creep wave together with a camp. And these giants, they do not kid around. I mean, those boys, they hurt. And they hurt a lot. They might not be very pretty, but they definitely know how to pack a punch. Up to the top lane, that's where we see another tribute spawning, and this would be a curse against nFaculty. It's level 20 versus level 18, and well, with the Executioner talent on 16, with the 20, with the Resurgence and everything up, that's that fight that they were hoping for. Exxon, that Rain of Vengeance didn't do a thing. Nice hit against Exxon here. He goes down. Good job by Nasty, finishing off, getting the kill shot in here. Definitely headshot worthy. Every Counter-Strike player is going to tell you that much. And the ultimate, the triple panda, already with Locus. Lotus starts to jump in and tries to take down Alex the Proc. The Arthur's apparently without the heroic ability, yep, is already in cooldown. Nasty is the first preferred target though, since Arthur's now, well, without 20 he doesn't have Resurgence, but still he's a bit more tanky than that. And this is going to be Curse. This is going to be Curse again against Team Whiskey Koka. Whiskey Koka without a win in this league so far, and this is not looking like this streak is going to change today. So right now in this best of one series, we have nFaculty in a much, much better shape than we had them yesterday against Team Tignitas. They are very close to winning this game. They are one level ahead, a little bit more than that even. That stat advantage alone is great, and with Yobel now being taken out and 3 heroes still off, they can easily core that, like no problem whatsoever. They even have the Siege Giants over there. This is game, nFaculty takes the best of one series here at the HCL Playday 7 against Whiskey Koka. Congratulations to nFaculty, and Whiskey Koka still looking for that first victory in the league. Jaina time at the HCL. Yes, you heard right. We have in our best of one here a Jaina picked, and it is by Team Meet Your Makers. Meet Your Makers with Kuja on the Brightwing, with Luinth on the Jaina. That girl is, well, she actually was just a little bit of Vala getting all the action, so she bribed the captain of the team to pick her. So she wants to also see a bit of what's going on here in Dragon Shire. Aristina on the Zeratul is probably going to try and use the setup with the Void Prism to help her out here. Daishi on the Tychus, York on the Muradin, and on the right side of the map for aAa, the French team. We have InFauLtY, we have Uthi, Luvi on the Uther, Uthi. We have Gerdam Hurt, the German that sold his soul to the French, playing the Sergeant Hammer. Vipolin on the Anubarak, and Siak on the Chen. Okay, this is going to become a super awesome game. Well, it's at least going to be a game that will show us some interesting strategies. We've seen a lot of tank in the recent past, and there you can already see how Gerdam Hurt is using that range perfectly to get some action done here. Nice stun against Kuja, and of course a bit of damage against the tank, but still, in the end, it is the battle at the top lane that we are really curious about. Luinth is moving in and misses right off the bat his first Frost there. As you can see right here, we have the Blizzard and the Frostbolt, as well as the Cone of Cold, all of them not really doing all too much in that particular situation. But Luinth has the DPS, and he is in the situation where he needs to somehow stay alive. It's interestingly enough a 3 versus 1 on both lanes. The bottom lane is usually the one where we have 3 heroes going up against each other. And, well, at that point, up to the top, we're currently seeing the same starting for Team Meet Your Makers, and it's really, the bottom lane is where you usually fight, and the reason is quite simple. There's a night camp down there that you really want to get. But that's a pretty cool push. Aristina on the Zeratul needs to go back, but the first tower is down. Faster than at the bottom lane where we have a tank. So, well, Jaina legit confirmed here on stream, you heard it here first. We have in the mid lane, Muradin going up against the InFauLtY, 2 guys with a beard up against each other. The first one putting a lighter to the other one's beard wins. And, ooh, Todd is actually not in as much trouble as I thought he might have been, because Luvi is there to help him out. Down at the bottom lane, still the stun attempt against Kuja, completely missed by Vipolino. 1 tower still alive. Looking at the top with that 3-player setup, we have that tower already falling, and at this point we are most likely seeing aAa in team chat being like, what the hell is going on? Why is our siege tank being outpushed here? Sergeant Hammer, what did you do? And the girl is like, I'm trying to do, like, I'm doing what I can, but it's really a lot of trouble. Okay, so we look at the talents. I actually activated those a bit late. My apologies for that. We have currently a double Envenom, one on the Jaina and the Winter's Reach talent at the level 1 talent for her. Looking at the tank build on the other hand, oh, up at the top, Siak getting blocked out, going down, and Luby, oh, a double kill. Oh, Jaina, that girl, not even getting damage. Well, we talked about it earlier. She can dish out some damage and she is nice disabled. The problem is really that she's squishy as hell. But so far, she's done a very good job staying alive. So Jaina doing her thing, but let's see how that's gonna happen once we're hitting the 10s here. So far it's level 6 versus level 6. We are seeing for the siege tank down to the bottom lane that has already been pushed back quite a bit. Actually transitioning to the mid lane. Gerdam Hurt on the Z with the thrusters, and he took not only the advanced artillery but also the Maelstrom shells here for more damage. Oh, pushes back Aristina, but 2 heroes extremely low. It's an exchange of shrines, or at least it was for a few seconds. Now both of them end up in the hands of aAa, the French team, with Todd in the mid lane, trying to take that first Dragonite. York is moving up on the Muradin. He's trying to bring him down, but let's see if Gimli is really able to pull that off this time. Currently looking at the bottom lane, there's Kuja moving in again, and Jaina, she's up at the top. And if Vala, well, Jaina could actually be the Heroes of the Storm Pornstar. That's my personal opinion. Like that blonde outfit and everything that we have for her, I kind of feel that fits. Vala is... No, Vala can't do that. Vala is more the rocker version of her, like the bad girl version of her, and I like that, because when I play Vala, I do dirty things with my dirty girl. And, well, Aristina is moving in here, York and Daishi trying to stun the tank out, Jaina still up at the top. And that girl, I mean, she's basically luring you in with her looks, and then she suddenly gives you the frost treatment, quite literally, and already trying to go for the blizzard here. And that does damage. If you're caught in that thing and you can't move because you're stunned, holy cow, can that take you down. Suddenly we have level 8 versus level 8 with a 9 around the corner for Team Meteor Makers, and they're actually doing pretty well so far. They have the first 2 kills in the game. They're starting to push the opponent back. Mercenary Lord has been taken, as you can see, by the Nubarak again, and that really helps a lot to control just like the objectives on the map. And it's a big fight here down at the bottom lane. 5 versus 4, that's what we're seeing. Those Siege Giants that move in starting to do the counter damage. And, well, here we go. Daishi and the rest of the Meteor Makers rotating again, this time up to the top. That allows them to claim the shrine at the bottom lane. And with them I mean, of course, aAa. That brings both shrines under their wing again, with Gerdam Head going down in the mid lane. Jaina wasn't even needed there. But so far, they are doing a really good job. And Jaina is near, like, I mean, they're nearly level 10 with her. Once the level 10 hits, then things are going to get a little bit dicey for Jaina, thanks to the shock and all that we could see from Todd. And Jaina actually not going for the Ring of Frost, but instead going for the Water Elemental. Okay, so we have Water Elemental done, damage done. It's more the safer damage that you have. Water Elemental in fights can do a lot. If you have a long and drawn out fight and that Water Elemental doesn't get focused immediately, it does an insane amount of damage and very solid damage as well. If you get the Ring of Frost in completely, then you can do more, and you can also of course apply like a lot of lockdown, but it's not as reliable. But it's still interesting to see that, because I assumed the entire time that we would see a Void Prism set up for then a Ring of Frost coming in as well. That's something that we could see there now. But for now, that's the talents that they're running with. With the Emerald Wind, for me personally, being just like that emergency button if Jaina is really in trouble, that you can get out of that. On the other hand, if we're looking at the tank, we currently have the Napalm Strike. We have down here Aristina, trying to claim that shrine still. Up at the top lane, Muradin was already moving in and going straight for that, trying to make that out. Well, down to the bottom lane, or in the mid lane, what do we have there? That is... Ooh, Aristina, wow! Did you see that? Pushes Todd out of position, he can't use the shotgun, or really well done, great move there. And that was quite something. I mean, that was pretty awesome. Aristina would have died there. With the path that he chose, moving away, that was definitely one of those situations where aAa would have gotten a kill. But with that grenade that we saw from Daishi, I feel Aristina has to buy Daishi a beer. I think that is definitely gonna happen, at least if they win the game, because that was an important one. It was a really important one. That could have been a bad spot here for Meteor Makers. But as it happens, they are still doing quite well. We have the bottom shrine now taken by Team aAa, the French team, in position. That up to the left side, Daishi, Kuja and Aristina in a spot. To the right, it's once again the attempt to get one of those enhanced mercenary camps. Yep, there it is. We have the Anubarak moving in, and of course with that extra damage on the Siege Giants, they can push a lane. To the top, we have Siak, we have Todd there, starting to rotate. Rotations are everything on this map. Dragon Shire is very much about controlling the objectives and making sure that your opponent doesn't get the time window where he can grab one. Nice, catching 2, catching 3. Siak is moving in as well. Gerdam is still out of position, and they're trying to go for them. Oh, the shotgun! Oh, Jaina is so low. She's being hunted by Siak, but 2 heroes are already down, and Siak goes for the triple panda action. Aristina somehow moved away, at least for now, but now he's dead. But the triple panda is also in trouble, and Lewin on the Jaina moving in once more, and we have a 2-4-1 with 5 kills against 1 at this point, and that could well be a Dragonite. If they get an opportunity to move into the middle of the lane right now, then they might get the Dragonite. Here they're moving in already, but we have the fly-in up to the top where we see Todd take the shrine, and he just barely takes it in time to prevent the Dragonite. To the right side of the map, what do we have there? We have at the same time currently seeing, well, Daishi is just moving away. They're just like both looking to another attempt to catch the Dragonite, but it's 5 versus 5 again. That 13 talent that we're currently seeing for Meteor Makers is going to give them a huge advantage though. Frost Armor already taken here on the Jaina, one of those passive talents that you really want to get to just keep her alive a bit longer, with the Icy Veins now being picked on the 13, and with the Brightwing now having the 13 talent and therefore the Rewind, this is going to get extremely difficult. Rewind is great if you, for example, want to lock down the Chen before he can use his heroic ability. And that might be the case right now. Aristina needs to blink away, and that's what he does. Kuja in trouble. Oh, stunned out and down. Oh, that was unfortunate for them. Down 1 hero, and it is the healer with all that CC that they really want and need. Both shrines are going to be taken in just a bit, 25 seconds on the death timer for the Brightwing. They really need to try and check that out. But, well, The entire team is moving in. They're trying to go for Gerdam Head. They're looking they're losing a lot of CC with this. Here comes the Odin already. They're buying some time, trying to push some damage out to the bottom lane. Suddenly Luenth is moving in now too. But he doesn't get a Blizzard off. He doesn't get anything off just yet. Vipolino's waiting it out here as well. And Brightwing can now jump in. And that's exactly what he does. Brightwing on the way in. Luenth is just teleporting back. We have the Shrines, both of them still under the control of aAa. This is the crucial time now with level 14, nearly 15 for Meteor Makers and aAa high on their heels. This could be one of those situations where Dragonite is changing the game and the outcome here. But does not really look like they get the opportunity. Not with the Brightwing being down at the bottom lane, but he's already moving away. Needs to speed himself up, and he does, but the stun is there. And here comes the Blizzard. Oh, Todd misses his shock and awe. Yeah, well, that was maybe a bit over-eager, trying to catch the Jaina here, I guess. Or was he maybe trying to assist with the Brightwing kill, but for that he would have been too late. So I guess it was the attempt to take Jaina out, but she just moved away. Yeah, Meteor Makers is starting to struggle a bit. That Blink here was also not the best. He needs to use the Void Prison, and now starts to move away, and just barely, I might add. Luenth moving in, but not getting the Zeratul. But they will get the Dragonite right now. The Siag is moving in. And well, the start in the game for Meteor Makers was a good one, but right now, with the kill count being 5-3, they are starting to fall behind in experience, and that Dragonite is definitely going to help aAa to take control of the map and also of the forts here. He also starts moving in at this point, goes straight for it, and there comes the punt! Punts the Muradin away, the Dwarf in the face, because you cannot kick a Dwarf in the butt. At least not this one. He's just too small. York, that is, on the Muradin. Muradin reminds me a little bit of the dwarves that we had in The Hobbit right now. It's roughly the same size, and I think the beard is also the right color. But yeah, it's one of those dwarves that just like rush out of the castle and suddenly they defeat single-handedly an army of like 1,000 orcs. So that guy is somebody you don't want to mess with, but York gets kicked again. That Dragonite is somebody that probably makes him really mad here. It's, by the way, a good choice from Siak to always kick the tank. Kicking the tank away is really a nice choice because you make sure that the rest of the team is a little bit more vulnerable to engages and needs to just like stay back for longer. Level 16 talent for them right now, and that helps especially the tank to stay alive with the stone skin. We also have the overdrive, of course, for Todd, and that's extra damage that he has right there. They're still moving from one camp to another, and now they move up to the top lane as 5, well as 4. The Brightwing is still the only one that can TP to the teammate, and therefore he's just going to wait a bit. They need the 16, and that's what they're getting right now, with the Northern Exposure being used for Luenth here, who TP's back for reasons unknown, full mana, full health, TP's back, God knows why. Could have walked, and I don't think it would have made a difference. I'm not quite sure why exactly he does that. Maybe he said, okay, it's the same distance, the same time, but I don't want to lose out. I don't want to run in anybody if I run across the map alone. But now they're missing down here at the bottom, and I don't understand what Meteor Makers is doing here. Like, Kuja is jumping in, trying to heal him up. There comes Aristina, Luenth is moving in, Emerald Wind is being used. Siak is getting dropped, maybe! No, the Triple Panda is there. Kuja goes down on the Brightwing, and the rest of the team is maybe about to die as well. That is not looking pretty. 3 heroes down, Jaina being chased, but she survives for now. The reason why I cannot understand these fights is that I don't see any reason in particular for Meteor Makers to just suicide the heroes like this. Like, the game started well for them, they had a good early game, but now they're just like, they're not coordinating their movements on the map. There's no other way to say that. They were starting that fight at the bottom lane with a 3 versus 5 until the Brightwing started to jump in, and then Jaina arrived at the scene of the battle. But with that, they were already extremely low. They lost 2 of their heroic abilities just to stay alive. The Void Prison was gone as well. Then they needed to immediately use the Emerald Wind. That engagement was just absolutely horrible, and if they would just be a little bit more disciplined moving across the map and playing that a bit more cautious, I feel they would be in a really good spot. They were at 5 kills versus 1, now it's 5 kills against 6. They didn't take a single kill since then, and lost a lot of their experience lead. They are behind right now, and this is just starting to get a bit ugly. I feel this could have been much better for them. Losing 1 or 2 team fights, not that much of a big deal if you then just stay calm and collected, if you don't panic. and you just like focus on your strengths, and that's what they should do, because they played a very, very nice early game there, and I'm pretty sure that they could have carried that much more farther into the late game. They're not out of the game yet, of course, so if they get their act together, then they will definitely get opportunities to just bounce back here, but that was still a bit telling there. Looking at the hero damage, but just to give you a bit of an idea what's going on, Jaina only down here 10k, but of course one of the great things that we see with Jaina is like disabling heroes and just locking them down, slowing them, and having that utility in the fights. Sergeant Hammer on 30,000 with Todd on 18, 22 for Daishi. And talking about like Team aAa, they are moving straight into the middle of the map once again. Yeah, there we go. Siak, Vippolino, and Todd. Yeah, well, they are moving as 5, and that's what I'm talking about. If you have a Brightwing, you need not move as 5. You can have 4 heroes somewhere, you have another one on a different lane, he jumps in once that the fight starts. This is more of the setup that we were talking about earlier. So let's see if they might be able to pull it off this time. The Brightwing is already about to jump in. There he is. Jaina, where's the Blizzard? Blizzard being used once, twice. Shock and Awe, and Luinth is nearly dead after the Shock and Awe. But Vippolino dies. He dies first, and now it is Siak who just barely gets his ulti off. Jaina is already dead. It's a 4 versus 4 right now, and with a lot of damage done, but nice done by Luvi. He gets away, and that is the second hero dead for Team Meteor Makers. It is the Brightwing. The healer is already down, and now Todd can move in on the Falstad without having any trouble whatsoever, hitting the Boomerang hard against the Zeratul, and he gets one full in the face, and that drops the assassin off the board. So certainly we have a 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2 actually, and another kill. Meteor Makers is falling apart here. aAa is finding themselves in an extremely good spot right now. That talent later, when they are started to really put pressure on the Jaina with the Shock and Awe, that was very much when things started to go south for Meteor Makers, and them not having the right setup in the team fights was also not really helping. That was a big part here. So far Meteor Makers hasn't won a single game in the HCL, and it looks like this is not going to change today. Level 20 is on the board now. They just reached that. Meteor aAa, that is, with a blast off or with a resurgence, a double resurgence. They could go for the triple resurgence, and there it is on the Anubarak with the Divine Hurricane, of course, giving Luvi with the Uther just so much more utility in the team fights. Jaina seems like once again being picked and not winning anything. We are currently having the rest moving in. There comes the Blizzard right away. Another attempt of trying to do some damage there. Down goes the keep in the middle. And one up the top. What do we have there? Yep, there we go. Dropping the rest here, trying to go straight for the second keep, and with 5 versus 5, they could still turn that off. I mean, we have the Gyarados here already on the tank. Could use that. And let's see how exactly this is. How this is going on there. Siak is moving back. Todd is already there. And this is actually like looking pretty nice. Daishi is moving to the top, but that's of course not going to help him. They are not going to defend the fort. This is just not going to be a thing. We have them already taking the fort down, and with that, I mean, this is just experience gathering right now. This is them cleaning up the map, taking fort after fort, taking the mercenary camps. They could at least go for them if they want now, and I do not really think that this is going to be a happy ending for Team Meteor Makers. I really don't think this is going to happen. At this point we have Vippolino, Luvi, Todd and Siak just moving as 5 across the map, or well, in this case actually at 4. Get him hurt is a little bit slower on the siege tank, and we can't really blame him for that. That tank is just pretty slow, and they just take one camp after another. They have the Nubarak with them, they have that extra mercenary lord talent, and they use that to just make sure that they catch every single camp, that they put a lot of pressure onto their opponent, and with that they can then jump in again. There's only one keep surviving, and you can really just see how aAa is trying to just like get that situation under control, but they open themselves up to exactly these attacks, and now there's a bit of a split. There's not even the help of anything. Nice Void Prism there. The attempt to go in, but there is Dina low on the Zeratul trying to move away. Emerald Wind was used there for a second, and Gadam hurt. It's very low. Actually, Muradin might be able to maybe take him down here. Todd hitting one target with a Shock and Awe. Not really doing too much damage against the Muradin there, actually. So that Shock and Awe didn't really work too well, but it doesn't really matter. With the Brightwing already out, Muradin just on the run. He might even survive just going up to the top again, but they have like, nope, he doesn't. You have 2 heroes down against 5. I doubt that we're gonna see aAa end now, though. They're very low in heroes, and there's still 3 heroes up, and 2 of them damage dealers or disablers. Siak being dropped, but he has resurgence, so not really looking like they can do anything about that. Daishi maybe even going to kill Gerdam hurt. Vipellino moves in, another stun. Oh, Jaina is there! No, no Blizzard. No Blizzard, okay, maybe a bit too much stun, maybe it was still in cooldown. Whatever it was, that was not too bad. So, at the same time we have Daishi. What is he doing? Did Daishi just portal from one position to another because he was bored and was trying to watch his hit point bar? Did that really just happen? Apparently it did. The kill count is 12 versus 7. Looking at the damage again, taking the top damage, 48,000 on Daishi, Sergeant Hammer with 51,000. And, well, let's see how exactly that's going to translate into the late game. Who's going to take that battle? Maybe Daishi gets an opportunity to overtake the Hammer and the hero damage done. In siege damage, I wish him good luck with that, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. With another Dragon Knight, that would most likely finish the game 20 minutes in. That is going to be a beast. The Pain Train with the axe is going to start and move in. Todd with a decent shock and all there. That's stunned by Luvi. Oh god, York is surviving for now. Can move back in again. The Blizzard doing some damage from Jaina, but that bubble is already gone. The Void Prison not there anymore. They take one of the heroes out. Really nice first kill against the Anubarak there. The Emerald Wind pushing everybody away and pushing the Anubarak straight into the arms of Meteor Makers. So that was a pretty good move by them there. Yeah, the Anubarak is back though. It's still that triple resurgence that we have. And triple resurgence is just so damn strong. So they're trying to capture at least one of the shrines, and it looks like this is going to be bottom shrine already. Top shrine, that's where we have Kuja moving in, making sure that there's not going to be another decay. I mean, with 20 versus 22, if there's just a single team fight that they win, Meteor Makers that is, they might be able to turn that around. As I said, Dragon Knight is doing a lot of work here, but they have a very big stats. Daishi, no! He doesn't have the ulti. He goes down. They have a stat disadvantage, and that is a problem here for sure. Vipellino is in a bit of trouble. Kuja and Luinth are running away, but they're the only ones. Brightwing, like Muradin and Zeratul aren't even here, and these two are going to die. First one down, Todd nearly taken out. He was barely saved by the Uther. So great job by Luinth keeping the false stat alive, and that means that we are definitely going to see another Dragon Knight for aAa now. Well, or do we? Bottom lane has been captured by Aristina, but they're going to send 1 or 2 of the heroes down in just a second to turn that around. And at the top lane, it looks like Muradin wants to capture a shrine. He should have Resurgence up, but he is most likely going to fall now, since Luinth is moving in as well, and with the heal and the extra stun, that Uther is not gonna, that Arthur, sorry, the dwarf is not gonna make it unless he's able to just jump away, and he's trying. But there comes the false stat, trying to capture him out, missing one. Do we see the battle for the Dragon Knight? Is one of them getting it? They are trying to get the dwarf, and the dwarf is just jumping. He's running and jumping. He's running and jumping the entire time. They should just get that bloody Dragon Knight, to be honest with you. Zeratul is down. They killed him. One of them should go for the Dragon Knight, and that's what Siak is finally doing. Dwarf or no dwarf. This isn't Dota 2. This isn't League of Legends. Like, chasing a hero down like this is absolutely not worth it. They might get him in the end, but it's much more important to just get that objective, get the Dragon Knight, and just move in. He even keeps the healer there. Todd keeps the healer down there and is able to kill the Muradin. At least I would be surprised if he isn't able to take him down. That battle isn't too important though, since Muradin has still Resurgence. And now this is actually helping him to arrive for the defense faster than if he would have walked. Todd should have actually just like kept him alive. There's the kill against the Anubarak and the Uther, but they just right-click the core. And aAa is going to win that game against the Meteor Makers at the HCL Playday number 7. After a lot of trolling and a lot of preparation, we are in the game at the HCL that at least I was waiting for. 3D Max is going up against El Nexo. It is a good one. It's going to be bloody. It is going to be awesome. And starting to the left side, we have El Nexo with Vortex on the Tigers, Alistar on the Vala, Lucifer on the Stitches, Gran Paquete on the Uther, and LOL versus XD playing the Anubarak. The lineup is pretty interesting for a single reason. We have the Stitches coming in last, and if you look at the lineup that we see currently for 3D Max, then we have a Siege Tank down there. Sergeant Hammer played by Nika is not gonna have a fun time. Psycho on the Arthurs, Leo from Poland on the Brightwing, AD Artie on the Tacita, and Xoltro on the Muradin. So even with that Siege Tank in the game, bans by the way were Zeratul and Abatha. With that Siege Tank in the game, somehow the Stitches made it in as the last pick, not the first pick, not at any other position. He was the last pick in the bunch, and they picked the Siege Tank. Nika's actually playing a lot of Siege Tank right now, and the build that he uses goes for Vampiric Assault on the 4, he gets the first aid, like it's really more of a sustained Siege Tank build than anything else, which is actually very, very interesting and a pretty cool thing to do, and he has very good results with that, so I'm wondering if he sticks with the build or if he has made some changes since he last played it. But Siege Tank and a Nubarak against the, Nubarak and Stitches up against the Siege Tank sounds like a pretty nasty lineup for him to deal with. At the beginning of the game, that's where he can really just shine a bit. We have even the hovering mode for him. Whoa! El Nexo just blows the Arthurs off the grid. Wow, he didn't even know what was coming here. Like Arthur's, that good old prince there, he was just like standing down here and he got blasted away from the side. He didn't even know what hit him. That grenade completely wrecking his face. Suddenly Nika in trouble, and the kill. El Nexo with a double kill right off the bat at the beginning of the game. It's this team that was able to win the Go for Heroes monthly final and is currently dominating the scene again. It is already on level 3.5. Khaldor at the top lane, abandoning his spot to get a couple of seeds. We're on Garden of Terror in this best of one. And there are a few people amongst you are wondering, like, why exactly are they called their Nexo right now? Wasn't it Millennium in the last week? That was the case. We had Millennium having apparently a bit of a deal with El Nexo, that in December El Nexo would play under the Millennium name. But apparently that deal fell through after December, and currently El Nexo is back to their own name and they are looking for a team. And they are completely dominating Europe. So I'm not quite sure if they really wanted too much money or if they wanted too much support, if they wanted a team house and could get that from Millennium. I have no idea what exactly the deal is with that, but any team that really wants to have the best series of the Storm team that exists in the world right now should definitely start talking to El Nexo, because if they are the best, I don't think anybody is really gonna argue that point. We have seeds taken. Seeds taken at this point absolutely everywhere, just like going for the bottom lane especially, and with that extra, currently that extra kill that we had earlier, that extra experience, they are looking at an extremely good position here. We are not only having the level 5, nearly level 6 on the board, but we also see them with a small surplus in seeds, and actually, looking at that, they're getting a plant already. They're having the plant here, and if we look at the talent build once again, apparently a bit of a change on the Sergeant. Look at that. He's not picking the 4th talent yet. He's waiting. That would be Vampiric Assault, and he's waiting for that. He's still looking at it, and he's like, do I need it? What am I gonna do here? What exactly am I gonna play? And he goes for it. Okay, there it is. Vampiric Assault. He plays the same build. First aid should come in on the 7, and then the hovering mode on the 16 later. Very interested to see how Nika is gonna do against his opponent's team with this, because so far the game hasn't gone very well for Team 3D Max. But if you look at the Vala, we have at this point once again full. I mean, the builds that we have on Tychus, Vala, and Stitches are very self-explanatory. We have full overkill build, full multi-shot build, and a full slam build at this point. Well, maybe with the exception of Tenderize being used on the 7, you don't really have a slam upgrade there, but you can go for the extra, venom damage, which we don't see there. Also, once more, the Anubarak is really getting a lot of action these days, and it feels like teams have been changing his role slightly. We saw before the patch hit that Anubarak was like the initiator and the guy to just like dive in, do his damage, go for the rewind, move out again if he was in trouble. But right now, Anubarak is a really good hero that can stun, that fills a similar role to what Tyrael did in the last patch, and is also able to just control the map better with the mercenary camp, with the, as you can see down here, the mercenary lord talent. So this is something that has been used a lot. We've seen teams in nearly every single game play that, and apparently they are getting really used to the new role that Anubarak has there. And that's why he is a hero that is definitely being played a lot more than it was after the recent patch, like after the first 2 weeks maybe, when suddenly everybody said, okay, Anubarak, they nerfed his armor, they nerfed his life leech, they are also in a position where they took down his rewind, which makes him pretty much useless. Teams were not happy about that. But right now he's getting back into a spot where he's definitely seeing some play, and that's of course pretty great for them. Look at that experience bar, by the way. Level 9.5 versus level 9. It's this Nexo thing. Somehow them claiming experience every single time where other teams are apparently not able to get them. Lucifron and LoL versus 16 moving in, take the camp, they have the 10 already, and the Mercenary Lord is doing his thing, starting to push the top lane. We have a counter over here with a night camp taken, and if you look at the... That was, by the way, a very dangerous drop. If Alistair is out for a bit longer, then the bot might have taken his talent, as he just like dropped for a second then came straight back. As it happens, it's not really a concern. He's still sitting down here and is not moving. It looks very much like Alistair is still not completely back to business and not moving. So apparently Vala is having some trouble here. Alistair just sitting there, not playing yet. Here comes the Rain of Vengeance, and Vala starts moving. Okay, Alistair is back to business. He is once again with us. With the top lane, we have still experience being soaked. The level 10 is also now ready for 3D Max, the Polish team, with a Blink heal and also with a Napalm, using that right away to try and drop one of the towers. Ooh, the hook! Lucifron! And goodbye, tank. That tank is not going to make it. Yep, that tank is dead. So another kill. 3 kills versus 0. Nada. Zip. Niente. Nothing. Nothing done in terms of damage to heroes by 3D Max just yet. And El Nexo, like the Spanish team, is going in once again. They are starting to take the seeds. They want to have another plant. It's very unlikely that they're able to deny a plant to 3D Max, because they are also in a decent spot. But now one of the big ones being attacked up at the top. Uther has already done his job. Gran Paquete, I love saying that name. I don't even know why. Is trying to just like catch up with the rest of the team to move as 5 now on the map. And that's quite important. Like, if you're a newer player to the game, and people are always asking about laning phases, real laning usually happens in the early stages until level 10, level 11, sometimes a bit longer than that, but after that you start moving in pairs or even as 5 on the map, so that you're not caught off guard, especially on like smaller maps, but also on the map like Garden of Terror. You really want to do that. The only hero that is still down there is the Anubarak, who just moved back. Level 60 is on the way to catch up with the rest of the team and moves to the top. But yeah, that's what we're currently seeing here also. So the talent is going to be a bit faster. It's a plant for a plant. It's barely a plant, by the way, for El Nexo. They were just barely able to catch that. One seed less and they wouldn't have gotten it, but they're already moving into the middle, and with them close to level 13, they might have a chance of winning a fight here and forcing that as well. We have once again a camp down at the bottom, and with the extra hit points that we're seeing on the Mercenary Lord hard camp, they are starting to take down a few of the towers and at least get rid of the ammunition. So at this point we have already Lucifron, Alistair and the rest of El Nexo moving in with a 13 talent. Once again, full overkill build, full frost shot build, or full multi-shot build, and full smash build here. So he's going straight for that, using the slam, going straight for it, and do we see maybe a hook? There's nothing to hook, except for the plant, and that's the one that he gets. Goes for it, and of course the one thing that 3D Max is doing, they hide behind the fort right now. They want to buy a little bit of time. I want to say like, hey, please give me that 13 talents so that we can at least contest the fight if it happens. Down here, we have Gran Paquete against Leo from Korea. This is like the jealousy that we have between supports, between healers. Uther is like jumping in there, and he hates Brightwing because Brightwing stole his spot in the limelight after last patch with the double rewind now on the Brightwing, thanks to, sorry, the rewind for the double polymorph on the Brightwing. He's the healer that's being picked more often. And of course, Uther doesn't like that. I mean, Uther is a little bit of a jealous guy. If you look at him, especially in the portrait, he's like this guy with a beard, and he looks calm and collected. But then look at these blue eyes in the portrait up to the top left here. He's a pretty mean person, and he's actually a guy with a mean streak. So you need to be careful. Brightwing is just like that bird on drugs that is just completely out of his mind. And you can't really blame him here. He didn't have a say in what Blizzard did to him, but Uther is the jealous type, so he wants to go up toe-to-toe with the Brightwing now at the bottom lane and punish him for it. So far he was able to at least send him back to the well, but the rest of the team, they don't really care about that struggle between the two of them. They just say, hey, guys, really, let's just let it be, let it go. Like, the Blizzard is going to change it back at some point, let's just fight it out. So they go for it. Nice Rain of Vengeance here, and the camp has been taken. That camp is actually helping out quite a bit with the extra damage. Nice stun by Gran Paquete. Where did he come from? Moves in, as does the Brightwing, and immediately the polymorph drops the Uther. Nice Howling Blast there as well, but the Tacita is already dead, and the stun against Xolotl might also take down the Meridian, and goodbye Dwarf. He's being taken out there too, and it is once again 5 kills versus, you guessed it, 0. Not a single kill for 3D Max. Level 15 just around the corner now for El Nexo. The Spanish team is capturing the mercenaries here as well, taking those with the Mercenary Lord's talent. That hard camp is gonna tank a ton of damage, and they're also gonna get the one down here. They're not gonna take it. Here comes the Anubarak, and he's like even burrowing in. He's like, oh wait, I'm then a second, then a second. My job, mine. And then he captures it and like, that's an Anubarak laugh right there. You heard it here first. At the top now, we have, that camp that I was talking about. Look at the damage soak that they have there. How long it takes for them to really drop that, even with the napalm. And those golems just drop the fort in the meantime. And we're like, oh boy, we got some time here. Down to the bottom lane where Vortex is dropping the siege camp that was going up against them. We have him also now in a position where he can anger for the small camps together with Vala, which he's doing. There's a bit of a trade as the top plan is ending up in the hands of 3D Max. At the bottom lane though, they're currently having, they're having the rest of the plans being taken, or of the seeds I should say, and there we go, moving straight in and trying to take the big one as well, the ugly one if you so want. That's the one that's like, if you think about the small plan and the big plan, think about Ace of Spades and myself. I'm the big plan, and Ace of Spades, our most favorite Italian Uther, also the only Italian Uther in support, he's the small plan, okay? That's what we are seeing there. And I know that Ace is listening right now, so I kind of had to go for that. I apologize to all the other Italian, like, to all the other Italian supports that we have out there, but Ace, you know how it's meant. And you can make your caster jokes later, I guess, to get back at me. But for now, we're having the Spanish team moving in, and it's plan versus plan. And you know what? If you have an Anubarak in the team, and you have the mercenary, you force the plan to go down here, because the plan needs to drop the pot against that big camp. That's exactly what's going to happen here. There's the pot, they're going to take it out, but it also does some damage, of course, to the camp. The plan that we have for the Spanish team, that can move freely into the mid lane right now and maybe get a chance to have just some time to do work over here against the fort. And that's what they're trying to do. So this one is trying to catch up, and they might catch the tank. The tank is, oh my god, Nika is so smart. Going the safe way right now. That was a trap, and it did not kill the hammer. It didn't string them. Really well done. I like it. Very good job by him. So, fishing hook taken, not the full stun build, not going for the mini stun. Doesn't really need him. Instead, he wants to like hook the siege tank. It makes sense if you look at the heroes that you see there. The siege tank is one of the biggest threats to your team, especially with the hovering mode that we have there right now. But if you go for the range on Lucifer's hook, you can try and take the tank. And look how well Nika is positioning himself behind the fort the entire time when the hook is up, making sure that there's no chance for a hook to just lure him in, because he knows once he gets hooked, he's dead. So great 16 talent that we see there. Once again, the damage though, and if you just look at the situation here, the fort is down, Xolotl is nearly dropped out of the plant, and look at the hit points on LoL vs 60's counter plant. So much more. If they drop Xolotl, then they are in a great spot and they are already going for it. The Muradin is jumping out. Here comes LoL vs 60, tries to go for another polymorph, doesn't get yet, but he's just chasing, and the hook and grab against the Arthurs. He's already out of his heroic ability. Gets taken out there as well, and we're having them move down to the bottom right now. Going straight for it, trying to check. Ooh, nice move by Lucifron. Another good hook by him. Gets him there. 18 versus 16. That's what we're currently having. And, well, as you can see, we have already the double siege giants here. I always say double siege giants. I don't even know why I do that, but there are 2 of them. But a double siege giant camp would be 4 siege giants. So either I really suck at math, which is not the case. Everybody who watches my streams at GSL knows that I can do math on stream. But still, 1 kill by now against Vala. That's actually the first kill that we saw from the team, but that cost them 3 heroes. So they paid that for that kill. And oh wow, okay, I correct myself. It cost them 4 heroes because apparently Xolotl is also dying. He was and that was close. He could have gotten that, I feel. I think like he had a chance of actually getting this. We have also now another, like, look at what's happening here. They dominate the map, they win the fights, and then they go for the camps. Take the camps and always use that bloody bug to take those camps. The bug goes in, takes down the mercenaries, they have the enhancement with the mercenary lord, and he starts pushing in with that. And that puts them into a position where they can farm for the 20, where they get way more seats than their opponent's team. They go down here, and, well, they could actually, like, open up a bit like a supermarket. With them having this many seats, I mean, I'm not quite sure what they are planning, but even if it's like tomatoes or like potatoes, I do not know what it is. Whatever it is, they should have plenty of that, and they could sell that. They have so many seats, they could definitely sell that shit. Like, no questions asked. But apparently they're a little bit greedy. They want to claim all of them. It's a bit like Pokemon. You want to collect them all. And that's why they go for this one as well. But the trap at Marakba, it's a trap! Well, the question is, like, who's the trap for? Lucifron is still moving back. Nika on the tank. He needs to be careful if he doesn't want to get hooked here. I think we just heard a hook, but I just didn't see one. Lucifron might be down in cooldown. And I think he hooked a bug. That happens sometimes. You know when you like drive with your, like you drive a bike and you open your mouth and just suddenly you swallow a bug? That happens in Heroes of the Storm all that time if you're up against the Nubarak. Like, that thing is so annoying, you have, like, I don't even have words for that. If you play Stitches and you're up against the Nubarak, actually it couldn't be a bug because the Nubarak is in the same team, but like, just to make my case here, if there's a Nubarak on the opponent's team, every single time you try and hook something, there is going to be some stupid small bug somewhere that you hit, and I don't even know how that big hook hits such a small bug, but it happens. And every Stitches player out there knows exactly what I'm talking about now. Right, Mobsio? I know you're watching, and I know it happened to you too. Bottom lane, that's where we're having ADRD, just like pushing in with a napalm again, and look at those retreat things. They're like already in chat. What the fuck, Vala? Just move back. What are you doing down there? Move back, retreat. And Vala's like, hey boys, I got that. I nearly got the 20. Just let me go for another multi-shot. And everybody's just yelling at him, and it's like this pop stomp, and you're like, no, go back now. If you die, we lose. That would be me, by the way, in that situation. The Khaldor rage is real. People have cried. People have started crying. Admittedly, not in Heroes. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to get my momentum on. So, we have now up in the mid lane, once again the push with the plant, and we have still 59 seats on El Nexo. And also the level 20 is extremely close. I need to give some credit to 3D Max, by the way. They're just a level behind. With them only having 1 kill against 9, it's quite the achievement that they were able to just drop the forts and keep up in experience a bit. So El Nexo, great long distance hook, but AD with an immediate phase shift there. The keep is under a lot of pressure. We're 17 minutes in, and well, we have the Spanish team playing this calm and collected, but the Polish team is doing a great job at this too. We have to give them some credit for that. There's a double resurgence now on the Spanish team with Stitches and a Nubarak, and also, of course, the Divine Hurricane, the big red button. The keep is dropped, but it's still one of those situations where the Polish team, if they get a good team fight, might be able to turn things around. It's of course a bit unlikely here, but still. Right now, one mistake is all that it takes. Oh wow, these hooks. Was Nika actually hooked once? I think they got him once, right? The Stitches had a hook and gorge against him earlier and brought him behind the wall, and then he got annihilated, but still. That's currently one of the things that we have there. Up to the top, LOL versus XD, still in position there. They're trying to aim for the second keep. I don't think they can get that. Not with the Tacita, they are just shielding it. The plant nearly down, only 5 seconds remaining. Not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. Not now. Down here we are currently looking at the siege tank is of course helping with that. Engaging into a siege tank is always tricky, it's never easy. Even if you have an Nubarak, if he moves in, especially if you have like the rewind on the dwarf up, you can double stun him, the polymorph. That's so much CC and crowd control, especially with a howling blast as a potential follow-up. You just can't get away. So Nubarak at the initiator, if he goes in, always has to be very, very careful how he does that, or he gets just bursted down before the rest of the team is there. So pushing into a tank is extremely difficult, and that's one of the main reasons I feel like 3D Max is still alive. But I like their movements on the map. Both teams really try and control as much as they can. And we have the level 20 nearly there for the team. But also a great move here, once again by the Spanish team, moving straight for the move, for the keep. And yeah, here comes the counter initiation. Nice howling blast, the hook barely missing, but well, as long as it doesn't hit, you're happy no matter how close it was. But they get the keep, don't they? With that camp that they just took, there's very little chance of defending that. Just look at those knights going straight for that. They could actually like fight for King Arthur. Oh my god, how on earth did that hook happen? Oh my god, he curved that one through 3 different heroes, but the counter aggression, Napalm is doing his thing. Great stun by Grand Paquette there. But in comes the avatar, and goodbye Uther. Well, Uther. No way. No way. Uther! He gets away. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, but the Stitches is dead. Not that the Stitches is really gonna care. I mean, he has resurgence. As long as he doesn't die again anytime soon, it's fine. But this is actually maybe the beginning of a turnaround. It might be the start of a wonderful friendship, or it might be the start of a comeback. Because we have quadruple resurgence. Yes, boys, the cancer is real. No, I'm not talking Asmodan here. I'm talking resurgence of the Storm. 4 resurgence on the team and on Storm Shield. May I introduce you to Team 3D Max, also known as Team Never Die. We have 88% on the core. They took some damage in that last encounter. They lost 2 of their keeps. They only have 1. But they have a quadruple resurgence. And the problem that you have if you push into a team that has resurgence on a few heroes, it's very difficult to finish them off. Why is that? If you fight for, let's say for example 3D Max fights over here and one of their heroes dies. He spawns back over there and has to cross the entire map. If the fight is over there because El Nexo pushes in and 1-2 heroes die, they are immediately back in the fight after only 4-5 seconds and can once again participate there. And if they kill the right heroes, they will be down for a minute or 2 and then they can walk cross map and really do a lot of damage. That's one of the things to really think about there as well and to visualize, because it's very peculiar, very tricky where you pick your fights right now and which positions of the map you are in for that. So we see AD already well, checking out what's going on up there. It's a plan for both teams, and the way that LOL/60 is moving, they might actually try and just like threaten the core. And the plants 20 minutes in, they hit hard. So they might not be hitting as hard as a Dragon Knight, but they definitely do quite a lot of damage. Not the extra damage against structures, but you can end the game with that, and they know that of course too. So the tank is going to be tricky to defeat. Tank is going to be a bit tricky there, and of course, oh, nice hook against, that was bad for, oh my god, that was amazing by Khaldor, and that was a very bad situation for 3D Max. If they lose the plant here, they will have a tough time. Ultimate already used by Psycho. They didn't want to fight this fight. They did not want to fight this fight, but now they have to. And there comes the stun. Oh god, Grand Paquette might die, heals himself and gets away. Psycho is nearly dead. Resurgence might come to play a role here. We have Nika all the way up at the front, and the tank is down. The hook is hitting nothing, but the plant is dead, and Psycho dies now as well. 2 heroes down, they will be back. That was definitely a battle that they were trying to avoid. That was not a good start into that last phase of the game. Soljo is on the plant still, but for how long? He gets 1 polymorph off, that's about it. They're trying to drop LOL/60 out of the planet. Didn't even lose Key. There are 5 heroes once again. Lucifron with a miss on the hook. Nice dodge by 3D Max. The Polish team is starting to control this much better. This is looking better than it did just a few seconds ago. They're all back to full action again. And can they dodge the next hook? Because there is going to be one, or is there? They'll try and fight. Lucifron is pretty low. There they move in, but yep. The retreat is, at least for now, real. 12 kills against 2, and the camps are starting to be taken once again. To give you a bit of an idea of the damage board, let's have a look at that. Vala is at the top with 42,000. We have Sergeant Hammer with 34,000. Not even taking the top siege damage. The Tacita has that, thanks to the plant damage being counted in that particular overview now as well. In case you want to have another look at the talents, I'll keep that board up in the middle down there. Once again, a big shout out to Ali, who was able to create that interface. So thank you very much for that. We have LOL/60, and there they're moving in. The hook! Oh! And if Inika dies, yeah, it's down for 60 seconds. Soljo in trouble, and that is also true for the rest of them. LOL/60 can get the camp if he moves just in. Tacita is about to die, so is Arthur's. Arthur's already down. The hook against the Brightwing. Oh my god. Like, you blink heals away, but Tacita is dead, and Leo is gonna die here too. Yes, they're gone. Oh my god, LOL/60 missing that stun was harder than actually hitting it. Leo from Korea is dying regardless, and this is going to be the core. Nexo has done it again. They are gonna win this match here, this best of one against 3D Max. Taking the core, even with a quadruple resurgence, it just was not enough. The Muradin comes back to life, but what can he do? One dwarf against 5. This is only working in Lord of the Rings or in The Hobbit, but not in Heroes of the Storm. GG! And Nexo triumphant versus 3D Max at the HCL Playday 7. The last day, well, the last game for our 7th Playday of the HCL, or the last game it is, I'm confusing my words here right now, like babbling. We have currently Alternate going up against SK Gaming in our best of one here on Cursed Hollow. And we have, well, let's say just special lineups, special tactics, like White would say right now. To the left side of the map we have Alternate with Mopsy on the Stitches, Rimiak on the False, on the Malfurion, Sasha on the Arthurs, Gluhammer playing the Zebo, and Guccio on the Hammer. It's hammer time! And well, looking down to the, well, right side of the map in red, linked on the Brightwing, Bakery and the Vala, Araragi on the Chen, the Escape on the Sonya, yep, Sonya, and BZ on the Tacita. It was a very interesting draft that we had there, with bans on the Abathur and then also another ban on the Tychus. And, well, that tank, when he was picked, when Sama was picked, and also like the Malfurion, it apparently like really surprised SK. They took a long time to really get their bans straight. I'm loving the pick here on Gluhammer, by the way. I love that. It's beautiful. And it oinks, I hope. And the tank is already starting to do his thing. But in the end, what we ended up with was the entire lineup already picked for Alternate that you can see to the top left here. And we still had like one pick missing for SK Gaming, who at this point had Brightwing, Vala, Chen and Tacita. And we've been actually talking a lot about what they could do. And I feel personally that what they needed and what they were trying to go for was just something that could really stun out the Zebo Ultimate, the Ravenous Spirit, because they didn't really have a whole lot. The only thing that could really threaten it was the Brightwing, and you don't want to have Brightwing going balls deep to just try to disrupt Gluhammer and then being caught in a bad position and dying. So the things that I personally thought they would go for were either, if they want to have a very tanky option, the Muradin, who can always jump in and then use the Storm Ball. With the rewind change, he has a double Storm Ball, so that would work quite well to really keep him alive as well. And of course he's a super tanky hero. We've seen a lot of action the last few days also with the Anubarak, which would have been another option for them. A little bit squishier, but still with good stuns, and with that range stun that he has, he could get into position to stun it out. But then suddenly Sonya came into play. Sonya being picked here, and she's really a hero that Blizzard has nerfed hard. Blizzard was looking at Sonya and they apparently didn't like her. Maybe she wasn't pretty enough. I really hope that at some point they're going to change that picture, by the way, because Sonya feels like a little bit of a hybrid. She's not really male nor female. It's like this in-between thing, and we can't really discuss what exactly that is. I refuse to believe that Sonya is just like that Amazonian warrior. That's like not really the case. She feels a bit like a hybrid thing. Good hooks, by the way, by Mopsio. But yeah, talking about Sonya again, for some reason Blizzard hated her and said, like, you know what, we are going to increase your heal on the Whirlwind, but we're going to take away the only thing that you had going for you, and that was, of course, the heroic ability with the jump, the leap, the wah, but he just jumps in and stuns. And I think that talent is the main reason why we're seeing Sonya here, so that you can initiate against the Hammer, can initiate against also the Zebo, and go for that. Sonya right now in the middle is doing a decent job, and especially at the early game she's not half that bad. The thing is really that later on she just becomes more a bruiser than anything else, more a bruiser than a tank, and she becomes extremely squishy. Even with like Spell Shield and Stone Skin, the problem that Sonya has is that the sustain in the fight itself is very low. Fort down at the bot lane, where Link, BZ and Bakery are starting to push things in. At the top lane we have a similar situation now with the tank, Gluhammer and Rimiak going for it. Looking a bit at the builds that we see from the heroes that are not found in every single game there, we have actually like block being used. So block being used already on the one, which is not a talent that you see all that often against the tank and against the rest of them. I guess it makes sense to a certain extent, but usually it's a shot of fury that you really see here. So Sonya will have a bit of a problem with her fury management in this game and needs to be very careful what she does. So a lot of spears need to be used there, since spears give her fury. It's not that normal mana and hit point thing that you see with the other heroes. I like that we are currently seeing a ferocious healing being picked on the 7. A lot of like players will tell you that you should go for the actually go for the added damage, the smash. But I personally think it's not really a good choice, since Sonya's problem is staying alive and you need that extra healing power there. I have a Sonya. I played Sonya on level 10 on the North American server twice, and my Sonya on the EU server is also, I think, on level 9. So I play her a lot, even though she's pretty weak these days. And I think that the build that we're seeing here is a very, very good one, even though I personally usually go for Shot of Fury. But in this scenario, it makes a lot of sense. First team battle here is really, really horribly bad for Mopsio, by the way. He's not in a good spot, and both tanks are now down, and suddenly it's the full vengeance, the full wrath of Team SK Gaming. They are rushing in. Gluehammer, God knows why he exactly was stopping there, but he was apparently trying to take the Stitches out. Oh, sorry, the Chen out. That didn't work. 3 kills against 0, and the Tribute ending up in the hands of SK Gaming. Off to a bad start for Alternate, and well, that is going to become an interesting one. That battle just like turned south very, very fast, since we had the 2 tanks die, and then of course we have the Sergeant Hammer and the rest of the team not really in a position where they can do the damage anymore. They're just like way too squishy and had to move back, and that's what they were trying to do. Leap in this encounter not really playing a role yet. I feel like that the real test just comes in when we have the level 10. That's when the real test is really hitting. And when I talked earlier about the nerf on the Sonya's 10, the problem that we have is that the cooldown is higher. So that was for a lot of people, that was Sonya was basically like a one-trick pony for a lot of players, and they said, okay, she leaps in and she goes for the stun, she tries to go for a mass stun with initiation, and then you just pray to God that you somehow survive and try to whirlwind out of there, which can, by the way, be interrupted by a simple stun, so it's not easy to keep that up. If you can keep the whirlwind up, then it would be a different case, because you have really nice hit point regeneration. Oh, there she comes in, and the kill on Malfurion. Nice gang that we have, going as 5 and jumping in, taking maybe down Mopsio now as well. That's a really good rotation that we have from SK. Currently, it's not really so much their hero choice, but their rotation on the map as 5 that gives them these leads. They also take the second Tribute now with 5 heroes on the map, and 2 down for Alternate. Alternate actually not really looking too good here at this point. They have 5 deaths and not a single kill. Not really looking so good for them. I'm really wondering how they're gonna go into that right now once the Stitches is back, if they're trying to contest the boss at the top. They see the Brightwing now with, Brightwing is getting the camp, so they might move to the left. Nope, they move in right away. They could catch that just in time, and they are moving in already. Do they get it? Nope, it's too late already. Yep, the boss ends up in SK Gaming's hand, and that's a very bad timing right now. First one down, Malfurion is dead. Ravenous Spirit finally moving in. Great position for Gluehammer right over here. Ravenous Spirit getting the full damage of the Brightwing, is nearly down, but Sasha is now about to die. Down goes the Tassadar, but Arthur's is already gone. And yep, there we go again. Mopsio dies as well, but at least he takes the Brightwing with him. Problem is that Sergeant Hammer is already down too. So this fight actually, if you consider how this fight started, it was a decent fight for Alternate. The problem that they had here was that they went into the battle when the boss was just spawning, was just taken, and they were in a very awkward spot. They were rushing in because they wanted to make sure that the boss is being fought over, and that was not the case. So the Rain of Vengeance hits nearly everything that they have there, and considering the circumstances that the Malfurion, their healer, died within the first 2 seconds of the fight, they did extremely well there. But now again, they find themselves over and over in these situations where they fight with 1 hero down, 2 heroes down, and they just can't get a break here. And that's really where you need to just stay calm and collected, be in a position where you can just defend, where you let your opponent take the map. You know you're in a bad spot, you know you might have to eat a curse, but there's not a whole lot of other options that you have. Wait for 5 people to be up, and then you go in again. They had the Stitches in the battle a little bit late with the Golem fight, then their first player is down immediately. They fight a 4 versus 5. They're still able to kill 2 heroes. Then they lose the Nazebo, and they're just down the entire time. Now they're trying to fight again. Araragi is capturing the Tribute here, and he gets it. The rest of the team was just a bit too slow. So now they have to just deal with the curse. They're falling behind. It's level 12 versus level 14. This is a snowball thing that we're having right now. It's like one of the frustrating things that might happen to you in Heroes of the Storm when you're playing pubbies as well. That you actually, like, you lose a hero and he's down for like 30 seconds. Just before the 30 seconds are over, one of your team exposes himself a bit too much. He gets initiated upon and dies. And again, you have to wait for 30 seconds. You have to wait again and again because every single time a hero dies. And once more, Malfurion is down. His positioning really not the best. And they are 3 versus 5 in this. They get engaged upon and they lose 2 heroes while we still have the tank at the top lane pushing in. We have the Arthurs over here. So they don't really fight as a team at this point. They're just trying to soak the experience to get the 13 talent, which is a good choice. But then the rest of the team needs to move back and play more passive, and they don't do that. So this is an extremely dangerous position now for Alternate to be in. They have 2 kills against 13, and it's just a snowball. From that early first fight that we had, it's just a snowball for SK Gaming. And SK Gaming is running with that advantage. I mean, they're playing their cards right now. They know that they're in a great spot, and they're just making all the right choices. They're pushing in. They are just like pushing the advantage. They know, oh, we are on the same talent. Let's not fight. Let's just wait a second. Let's wait for the 16 talent, move back, take maybe one of the camps, take our hard camp first. Probably going to check when exactly the boss is up. 2 minutes, so not really quite a lot of time, but they are going to have the 16 talent, and that's going to be the advantage that they're running with. So what does Alternate have to do? What's their job right now? Alternate has to play that calm and collected. They need to go as 5 into the next team fight. They need to really fight on their terms. Maybe, for example, fight for a tribute and siege up with the tank before that happens. They still are waiting for the 16 talent, but the 13 is already going to help them. Where we are seeing the rewind on the Malfurion. We're having the Stitches build, waiting still for the slam or the fishing hook, one of the two. And with Tenderizer being taken and no real channel ultimate available for the opponent's team, it could well be the fishing hook that they want to take that, especially since they have to play a defensive game. But they need to make sure that they're not being caught off guard again. That needs to be a given. Mopsy on his team. Yeah, there comes the napalm. They know what's going on. Where's the hook? They don't get it. They don't get the hook. Hook is down for another 12 seconds. And they might try and jump in there. They see what's going on, but they're just saying, okay, they have the better position. They have the 16 talent. If they move in here, why are they moving back right now, if you're wondering? If they move in here, Sonya initiates and stuns 2, stuns 3. Then we suddenly have a Storm hitting at the same time. We have Bakery moving in with the Rain of Vengeance, following up the leap. And then they are all dying. Because it's just like such a small corridor. And that's exactly the idea that they have with this lineup. Sonya jumps in, goes for the leap, stuns one out. In comes Vala with the Rain of Vengeance, goes for another double stun, and the rest of the team just supplies the damage. But now this push is, of course, amazing for them. I mean, just look at this. Siege Giant Camp going in, Golem going in, everybody just pushing towards that fort or the keep. And as you can see, it's still the 15 level, so we don't have the 16 talent. Very, very difficult to fight here for Alternate. There comes another slam, and, well, this is perfect play by SK. They got the advantage early on. They never really got into the situation where Sonya had to... Like, what's the reason why we're talking about Sonya and saying, like, she's a hero that is quite bad right now, not being picked, not part of the meta? It's that squishiness in those 5 versus 5 battles. When you have to jump in, you expose yourself, and you are afraid of being bursted down. We have actually like wind or life funnel being used here instead of the spell shield and then stone skin. And the reason why Sonya doesn't really have a big problem here is because she never really went into that position. She never really was in that spot where she was targeted, where she was initiated upon, where she had a problem. We always had fights going in favor of SK when they were up 1 or 2 heroes, and they just picked those fights. They looked for them. They were trying to just like get those fights every single time, and that's exactly what makes their strength in this comp right now. They are just moving with the advantage that they got early on, and Alternate got so massively behind in this fight over here. The last fight that we had just a few minutes ago, that's where Alternate really lost the edge. The fight at the first tribute where they lost 3 heroes was a nuisance. That was annoying. That was definitely something where they say, okay boys, that shouldn't have happened like this. But it was not the game-breaking thing. The game-breaking move was trying to rush for that boss, trying to capture that in the last second, moving into that corridor and allowing the Sonya initiation and then the double Rain of Vengeance. Losing, especially the Malfurion, they are so fast. That was what broke them. They had to fight a team fight with 1 hero down, the healer being down, and that just didn't work. So once again, alternate pushing with the boss. Great moves by them, I really love this. They push with the boss, they do nothing else. The boss pushing in and they push into a tank, and they can easily do that. 16 talents now, full slam build. Interesting to see the executioner talent being picked with the Arthurs. It's a choice that is valid, I guess, but I've never really seen it. Mopsio's hooks are being dodged the entire time. The positioning of SK is great. They just make sure that they're never in range of Mopsio's hooks. And here comes the initiation, they go in, but this time Sonya is in a bit of trouble, and you already see her moving back. This time that didn't do a whole lot, and great move here with the Ravenous Spirit. Oh, but the Stitches is down, and even with the Ravenous Spirit, they don't kill anything. Oh, Araragi is dead, but here comes the immediate shock and awe, Rain of Vengeance, and they kill 2 more, and the Malfurion is dead now as well. They are too far ahead already, and they are looking to coit at this point. SK Gaming with a great game. Picking their fights very, very well, running with the advantages that they had, and just choosing their battles very carefully and very meticulously. They take out Alternate here at the HCL. SK on fire with this. Well done. Another thing, of course, that we have Alternate with a bit of a newer lineup here, as we have also a sub for them. But there it is, Bakery subbing in for SK. He did a great job on the Vala, and this is GG as SK Gaming takes down Alternate at the HCL Playday 7. Welcome to the HCL Playday 8. Today we actually have only 2 matches, since a lot of the other games were postponed and PPP disbanded, but we have some really nice matches today, and one of them is going to be SK versus Team 3D Max. Starting to the left side in blue here in Garden of Terror on our best of 1, we have the Escape on the Chen, Bakery on Vala, Aragi on the Tychus, BZ on the Nazebo, and Linked on the Uther. So triple damage, single tank, and then we have also the support up against the Hammer comp that we are seeing for 3D Max today, with ADRD on the Tacita here in red to the right side, Psycho on the Arthurs, Khaldor on the Stitches, Leo from Poland on the right wing, and Nika on the Hammer. Nika really loves his Hammer play these days. Like, this guy really likes the hero, you can tell that. So, well, at this point, let's have a quick look of what exactly is currently going on with that. We have Linked Aragi and BZ down at the bottom lane, and I mean, for them it was really the choice of how do you counter that tank, and they decided to go into triple damage. And well, if you talk about like the front line and the tank, I feel with like a Panda you can't really say that you are playing against like only 1 tank. It's more like 2.5, because that guy can split into 3, and these little cute pandas, they are not cuddly or anything. They are just like mean, and they are nasty. So right now, down here at the bottom lane, let's see what exactly the Polish team can pull off here. As in the mid lane, we have Chen going up against the Tacita, Escape versus ADRD. The top lane, where Khaldor is playing versus Bakery. Not really a great match for Bakery. That slam on the Stitches certainly hurts, and Devour is helping the Stitches to keep his points up. Usually, if you look at that, you will say, well, we have ranged versus melee, so of course Stitches is gonna get rolled. But nope, that's absolutely not the case here. Oh, Nika is nearly gonna get rolled down here. That was a lot of damage that he suddenly just like ate. Grenade to the mouth and a teeth lost, that's what you should say. Well, looking at what we are currently seeing from the team though, we have a very interesting build on the Nazebo, as you might have already picked out on the talent screen down at the bottom here. We have Demolitionist on yeah, we have actually Demolitionist on the good old Nazebo, the Witch Doctor, so that looks like they really want to go for a bit of a push build, or at least have some push, unless he picked the wrong talent there. We're gonna keep a close eye on how exactly he's gonna skill the rest of the game. But at this point, just like the seeds all appear on the map, and that's where the teams are trying to just like move in and make sure that they get as many of those as possible, taking down the small horrors here, and one after another the shambles die and drop their seeds. So they get the seeds, work towards the plant, up to the top. We have the same rotation once again as well, and let's see how exactly this is going to work in. Nika at this point with his tank going again into that build where he is, the hook against Escape. Panda doesn't really care too much about that, because, well, he's gonna get a bit tickled and that's it. But yeah, Nika again with the Life Leech here with the Vampiric Assault, and that's a build that he's been using for quite a bit. He actually used it the last time in the HCL for the first time and was like apparently thinking about it on the fly and saying, okay, this build seems to make sense with the comp that we're running, so I'm going to give it a shot, and he liked it quite a lot. So what we're going to see from him is on the 16, the Hava talent, and he's going to pick first 8 on the 7, just making sure that he has a very sustainable tank that is able to withstand quite some pressure, and is then of course on the other hand able to do his own damage like throughout the entire game without having to go back to the well too often. So that's the idea behind it. If you're looking at the Nzebo, we have the Gathering Power now taking on 4, and Grenade here for the Tiger. So, yep, Nika bursts through the wall of zombies and moves back in that instant. And on the Arthurs, of course, we have also like Envenom taken, which is something that he can come into play in just a bit. But for now, Arthurs is only taking the Merc camps. So on this map is really just about like controlling what you're going to do here. One option that we definitely had for Team SK Gaming was to take the Merc Lord on Nzebo. That is something that they might still do here. And if you actually move for something like that, then you just try to control the Merc spots as much as you can, and then always have a push going against your opponent. And we see that taken a lot these days. Ilubarak, for example, is a hero that wasn't picked at all after the latest patch for like a few weeks, and then teams started picking him again, not really as much as an initiator as before, but more as like someone who can have crowd control, can initiate infights if needed, but not as like the standard get to. But on the other hand, has that Merc Lord talent that we now see on the Nzebo as already thought about, and that talent can really help you a lot. With the talent, you increase the hit points of knights and the damage dealt by siege giants, and if you're able to control those spots in the map and the Merc camps in general, then you can just like put a lot of pressure onto your opponent, and it gives you a huge amount of map control, which especially on a map like Garden of Terror is great to buy you extra time to get the seeds or get into a good position, maybe have a counter push going as well. So that's kind of the idea behind it, and the more map control you have, the more valuable the better you can use that talent, of course, and that's already a massive push. Like if you're early on level 7 or level 8, you have something like this pushing in, this is absolutely gigantic. The tank is of course going to help with the defense there, but those knights have a ton of HP and going to drain that ammunition in just a heartbeat. And it's actually an interesting choice to go for the Demolitionist on level 1 if you consider that at level 7 you start pushing in with Merc Lord enhanced camps, and that will really help you. Just look how these towers can't do anything. Like in the defense, they are completely helpless against what we're seeing from SK Gaming. So that's a very interesting talent to take. I don't think that everybody really played Nzebo in that way, or at least not all that often. Usually you see different builds on him, but right now that's a very, very smart move, thinking about it. So there's going to be a lot of pressure against 3Max, and they are going to be the team that is on 10 first, and oh, BZ is way out there. He didn't see the Arthurs coming in. Arthurs even will lock down against Link, might get a second kill here. No, not quite. Apparently we had the Envenom talent already down. At the top we still have AD already moving in. Well, SK Gaming is nearly on 10 now as well, but still a bit of an advantage for 3Max. Xoltro on the Stitches is doing a thing at the top. Oh my god, like what the hell? Look at those 10 talents, look at the heroic abilities. That's an interesting touch. AD Ardy is gonna go for the Troll helmet. He's going to go for Force Fields. He must have played StarCraft at some point. He's basically just saying, listen, force fields are super imbalanced in StarCraft 2. If they are so imbalanced in StarCraft, they can't be bad in Heroes of the Storm. Blizzard loves Protoss, so I'm going to play a Protoss hero here, and I'm going to take force fields because I know what happens when you force field a ramp. The Zerg player loses instantly, and that's exactly what I'm going to try there. I guess it's all about just like saving that tank right now, but this comp is an interesting one. He might have to use it there, and he already does, but oh, I was about to say he dies, and he will, but that hook was certainly something that I didn't see coming. Araragi is about to go down, well, or maybe not. He uses the Odin to get away and just like bursts through that wall, so job well done. But the experience lead is still in the hands of their opponent's team, and the interesting part about that is, think about the experience right now, and then take into consideration that 4 of the towers that we see for 3Max have already been eliminated. So in that light, that is something where, well, let's just say that the 3Max is going to make up for that once they start taking down structures very easily. Right now it's more about the seeds though. We have 93 against 26. The first plan is already moving, and we have another couple of seeds taken there. That's finally the plan here for 3DMX. They're having one pushing in as well. And that's the second plant for them. That's 2 plants in a row for them, and that is going to be pretty awesome. Down to the bottom lane, what do we have there? BZ is already starting to move in, but I really like this. I really like what we're having there from the Talons. A very different game. Not only the force wall that we see, but at the same time then also the build for the Nazebo, not using the Gitbin but the Merklord, which is a little bit more common these days, but going for the Demolitionist on level 1. That has great synergy with the Talons that he picked so far, and I really like that a lot. But they are not the team that's pushing at this point. They have down to the bottom lane 1 plant moving in, but we have Saiku, Xoljo, Nika, and also Leo from Korea just like going straight for the mid lane, and that is where the damage is currently being dealt. An extra level, an extra talent already in the hands of 3DMX, and they're using it with the, well, of course, ooh, the rewind on Araragi is getting hooked. Yes, he still has the heroic abilities. I didn't really put them onto the screen, but here they are, and they actually dropped the Tychus a second before the ultimate. And I think you saw that maybe when I just like started to show you the heroic abilities here to the right and to the left side of the screen. So that was an interesting one. Like, that timing worked perfectly for them. I don't even think they were aware of that. And we have them just like busting through the ramps right now. Once again, that experienced lead for Team 3DMX. Oh, there comes the kill against Linked, and even with the Ravenous Spirit, Leo from Korea on the blink kill just jumps back immediately. Nothing really happened there. So yeah, that was pretty well done right now. We have them already down at the bottom trying to go for another camp, and I have to say that 3DMX is really giving SK a run for the money at this point. I'm not quite sure what that force wall was supposed to do. Probably just grant vision and not more than that. But I guess they had the vision already with the Panda starting to move in there. I'm not 100% certain about it though. But this is of course a problem with the Merklord. What is the idea about the Demolitionist and the Merklord? It's to push, to put pressure onto 3DMX, to put them in positions where they have to react, where they lose map control. That doesn't happen. With the last few fights that we saw there, 3DMX is controlling the flow of the game, and they are just stealing the camps away from their opponents, and that means that there's not going to be anything that the Merklord can be used for. So that's a really, really big problem at this point. And that starts to definitely pressure SK. So the idea that they had in this game, the game plan, is already failing a bit. And we have, even with the tank, a very mobile team now for Team 3DMX. And they are just like roaming through the map, getting camp after camp, moving in to just like push another lane. And they're doing it extremely well. Full slam build on the Stitches, even on the 16, not going for... Oh, and look at that, the force wall being used, but AD missing that slightly. Couldn't really push that one hero out there. But now another double tower goes down, and it looks a bit like we're having SK going for counter-aggression. Apparently the Demolitionist is supposed to help with that, and it might not be too bad, but as you can see here, they are able to drop that within a second. The plan, together with the Knights, is now starting to take on the top lane, whereas the rest of the team moves down to the bottom. There he goes for an escape. They have to make sure that he's not going to go for triple Panda. If they really want to burst him down, then they need that. Oh, where is that polymorph on BZ? We don't have it. Where's the slam? There's no slam either. Xoljo, what on God's earth are you doing? The Uther is down, and we have Stitches also die. There comes another potential kill. The hammer is down. And, well, that was a pretty big fail by 3DMX there in that last fight. I have no idea what happened there by them. That was like multiple heroes that didn't do what they were supposed to do. Suddenly Arthur's is being dropped as well. They lose everybody except for Brightwing in this fight. So what was the big problem here? We have currently, with the builds that we see, the Stitches that can interrupt the ultimate of the Zebo, and we have the Brightwing. And both of them didn't do anything. They just stood there, taking the damage, eating the Ravenous Spirit. We had Brightwing use one of his polymorphs earlier on the gen, but I didn't see a second one. So if he used his rewind, he should have been able, even with the cooldown, he should have been able to move in and put the polymorph on the Zebo, and that didn't happen. And Xoljo on the Stitches stood right in the middle and didn't go for the stun. So either both of them were in cooldown, which meant that they didn't wait for the Zebo to hit his ultimate and use their skills way too early. One of them should have saved that for their ultimate, or they just missed them or didn't realize where the Nazebo was. Like, something went completely wrong there. If you have a Nazebo against you that goes for Ravenous Spirit, and you have 2 heroes in the team that can stun him out or cancel that, then you need to have one of them who just waits for that to happen so that you counter it. If you don't do that, then that what we saw in the last fight happens and you get rolled. So 3DMX has dominated the game so far, but even with the double plant earlier, which was absolutely beautiful for them. But this was a huge blow to them. They're still now starting to maybe get another plant. Well, no, they are not. It's 93 seeds for them. They have to move down and contest against the plant that we see for SK Gaming right now. Brightwing took down another fort at the bottom lane. So this is all about how much damage can SK Gaming really do with this particular move right now. That is... yeah, that's the question. How much can Araragi do? Can they kill Keep or not? Nika has the 16 now as well, of course, and that allows him to be a bit mobile on the tank, but he gets polymorphed by the plant regardless. We have the entire team just like standing with the defense now that Brightwing jumped in. He was still occupied at the bottom lane where he killed one of the towers. They have the experience lead still. Looking at nearly level 18 there. Stitches into a beautiful plant. That's the only time when he's really beautiful. And let's see. No. Doesn't really look like SK is going to be able to do too much. Killing that fort is not going to be a big deal. It's more about the keeps. Like, losing a fort at this point in time is of course a bit annoying, but it's not something where you say like, oh my god, we're losing the game now. So you expect your force to just like be destroyed at some point in the game, especially in Garden of Terror with the plants. You know that there's a lot of potential for them to die, but it's the experience lead that we still have for 3D Max, where they shouldn't be too worried. And a good hook against the Uther, but the Chen jumps in, Soldier moves back, Ravenous Spirit is right there, and there comes the slam. That's exactly what Khaldor needed to do, and here we had the slam, but he dies regardless. That positioning was still pretty good for them, and yep, that team fight of SK is doing a lot right now. Yeah, these are not really the moves that we are usually seeing from 3D Max, but they get away with only losing one hero. Could have been much worse. I actually like that force wall there. It's really still a choice where you... but like, I'm not quite sure if you really wanted to pick it or if you it's just misclicked, but usually you know quite well which ultimate to take here. The force wall is not really something that you see being picked a lot, but I guess with the tank it might actually work at times. So there has to be a thought process behind that, unless it was just like a horrible mistake by them. But now they were seeing them move in. Psycho, the escape at the front, and he gets dropped out. Wow, he got very, very aggressive there. Very, very aggressive move by him, jumping in like that without having his heroic ability ready. His Storm Earth and Fire split was still on cooldown, and him jumping in like this, that was a bit... it was a bit strange. Like, he jumped right into the fray and apparently was thinking that maybe the Uther could heal him up in time, but that was not the case. So suddenly the Panda is down, and without the Panda, if you play a comp that is really just like revolving it out this much damage output and only one tank, then you need to have that Panda. So they need to wait for them. They cannot possibly fight without the Panda there. Well, they can, but not really successful in my opinion. There comes the Eat against, well, that's Araragi down. He might use the Odin if he has it, and well, he's gonna get dropped there. No question asked. He's already down. Psycho is still alive. Here comes the stun against BZ a bit late, but Soldier gets it. So they are getting like one kill. The Panda is back, and now they take the camps again. And once more, they take it away from them. They use the camps so that there can't be any merc camps with Mercenary Lords, Talent, and Hands pushing against them. So they do that extremely well. If you look at the kills, it's 6 kills versus 6, level 19 versus 19. But it's that seed count that we have at this point for 3D Max, which is very, very good for them, and they get even more. That's of course the big advantage that they have right now, that for 20 more seconds they are one hero up, and that's when you really want to fight. If you have no access to, like, for example, I played today with a couple of guys, really good mechanics that they had there. I met them on ladder and we played early in the morning. There was nobody else on, so we just like played a couple of games after our initial match, and they had really good mechanics, apparently LoL players. But the one thing that they really didn't know or didn't do all that much yet was that they were trying to like force situations where you fight with a 4 versus 5 because they thought that they could win these fights and just like buy some time. And you usually can't. If you're a hero down, you want to avoid as many fights as you can. You don't want to engage. If you're forced into one, you sometimes might have to, but you don't willingly engage into a 4 versus 5 Heroes of the Storm if you can help it, because there's very, very little chance of you actually winning it unless your opponent's team is already low in HP. Oh my god, BC! That hook that we just saw. BZ gets down, and he was one of the main damage dealers here. The escape with the Panda split, but he's very much alone amongst 3-4 heroes. Has to jump back now. There's a plant coming in now for SK Gaming, but we have 2 plants for 3D Max, and the Panda ultimate is gone. And once the Chen doesn't have a Storm Earth and Fire anymore, then you know that you have a chance of like finally killing that thing. Chen, I hate Chen. Playing against, I love him when he's in my team. I hate him when he's against me, because like Chen just doesn't die. Like, there are rumors that Chen died somewhere in the east, but that apparently requires some specific Chinese ritual to really go for that. So Chen, yeah, the rumors that Chen dies, I think, are not true. But yeah, if you go and polymorph him, then there's of course a chance. Like, Brightwing is pretty much, I don't want to say it, he's a direct counter to Chen. Not a hard counter, but his polymorph and the rewind for the double polymorph, that's something where you can take a Chen down if you polymorph just before he uses his ultimate, before he uses his R, and go for it. So we have him then moving in as well. That tank, by the way, I'm really loving that play with the Giant Killer here too. Oh, but that stun on level 20 here. And here comes once again the Annihilating Spirit. Where's the interrupt? Nice. Good job by Psycho. He doesn't have the stitches for the slam in place, so Psycho uses that. But Chen is down. Tassadar moving back. Arthur's the Prince. The Prince. They're trying to save the Prince, but the Prince is gonna die. Both of them with Resurgence, so no biggie. Problem really... that's what we call a fail field in StarCraft. I cannot believe that he really wanted to pick that. Like, I can't believe that. Usually you would say, like, yeah, that's gonna be Arkan. I mean, what would be the reasoning? Let's think about that for a second. What would really be the reasoning for him to pick the Force Wall? Was that in any of the fights really useful? Is it useful against the heroes that we have there? Think about the Nazebo. Nazebo in a fight being forced out by the Force Wall. He says, thank you for the added defense when I use my ultimate. For the other heroes, I mean, maybe, but like, I do not really think that Force Wall is a choice that will prevail in Heroes of the Storm for the Tassadar. I just don't see that happen at this point. Comms would have to change quite a bit, or maybe like on specific maps you could go for it, but I don't really see a reason to throw down a Force Wall at this point. That was of course a bit of a desperate attempt that he had in the last fight, but I still think that they would have benefited from the Archon way more than they did from that. It's just like in terms of position, I'm not quite sure if it really helps you all that much against the plan. By the way, like, thinking about it, considering that in StarCraft 2 a Colossus or an Ultra is such as simply crushing through a force field, I feel the same should also apply to a plant or a Dragonite moving through a force field. And yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. Triple Resurgence, by the way, for 3D Max, so that's very much the talent that a lot of people dislike, because they think that it's more or less game-breaking. We have 3D Max moving in with that second plant, and that's the plant that brings the hurt. The plant where you have no counter plan on your own team, and that's the one that we're seeing right now 20 minutes into the game. And there we go, starting to move straight in for that, and that keep is not gonna make it. Nice! There! That's a great wall! Look at that! That a boy! That was really well done, but even with that, we have BZ in the back, dishing out the Annihilating Spirit and moving in. Leo from Korea, down goes the Tassadar, and down goes the Brightwing. So even with the plan, that backfired fast. That Force Wall looked perfect, and it wasn't a good spot, but they just walked past it at the right side of the keep, and now Nika is going down as well. Nika dead, we have Tassadar and Brightwing on the death timer, and the keep is still alive, which is actually fascinating. That keep is still alive and kicking. They didn't even get that, and the seeds are on the map now. Seeds are on the map. There comes the kill. Araragi is still alive, barely, but he's alive. And they killed everybody except for the plant. And well, he's trying to do a bit more damage to those, but the big problem is, of course, that we're having the entire team just moving down to the bottom. And well, that is the attempt to gather a few seeds, but this looks very much like 3D Max is gonna have to like swallow a taste of their own medicine, because at this point it's very likely that they're not gonna get enough seeds for a plant. That it's going to be SK Gaming that gets one plant at least, and maybe even two. And if they get two, then good luck withstanding that much pressure, because this early, or this late in the game I should say, those plants do a lot of work. They do really a lot of work, and if you think about the last plants that we had at least for the first plant that 3D Max had, a counter plant for SK Gaming. This time it's gonna be, if they're unlucky, if they lose this one down here, it's gonna be potentially two plants without a counter plant. Actually, like, thinking about it, it's not. They had 7 seats going into that night. There's 180 seats out for grabs, so the most that they can get is 187, which would be 1 plant and 87 excess seats. So they will have a great start into the next night, but it's not going to be 2 plants back for back. It's going to be bad either way. And you can already see that SK Gaming is not losing any time here. They're just like going straight for the plant down here and saying like, alright, listen up, before we start to go in and do damage to the keeps, we take one of those seeds down, we kill the Shamble, and then we're gonna go straight for that. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. For 3D Max, the crucial thing in those team fights, what has to happen? Like, we have to have one hero that pays special attention to the Nazeebo. Nazeebo is one of those special needs characters where you actually look at him and you say like, alright, this guy needs my help, and that's where the Stitchers or maybe one of the other heroes like the Brightwing have to reserve a slam or a polymorph for him. The Brightwing, of course, would like to polymorph the Chen as much as he can, but we need to have something that interrupts that ultimate, because so far in every single fight that 3D Max lost, the Nazeebo played a crucial role. Brightwing, by the way, is just like pushing up at the top. Leo's saying like, hey, I want to have this fort. I don't give a shit about what's happening down to the bottom right. I want to have that. And he's going to get it. Then he can TP down quickly. And so far, nobody here died. So the only directive towards the rest of his teammates is like, do not die. Whatever you do, just don't die. There comes the stun and the ultimate. Oh, Saiku moves away. Ooh, blink heal, and he gets away. Nice job, well done. They're still all alive. They lose keep, but they didn't lose a single hero. And the plant is down. That was actually a pretty decent defense. Like, with a plant this late in the game, it's nearly impossible to prevent the keep from dying. It's nearly impossible. But they didn't lose a hero, and they got the counter keep. They got the keep at the top. So that wasn't all that bad. That was actually like, if you look at the game right now, you can still say, yeah, we are a bit behind in experience. There's a bit of a stat advantage that we have for the opponent's team, but it's still all good in the hood. We got 2 keeps, they got 1. We currently are still out on the map. We are roaming as 5, and we can win the next fight. 1-1 fight, and that's all that we need. It's 7 kills against 13, but right now, like, the slate has been wiped clean. This is all about the next team fight, just the next battle. Getting into a good position, that's all that you need to win here. And they just have to, tell people what to do. They have to tell, for example, Stitchers, you do not slam. You do not slam unless that Nazeebo starts with his heroic. And moving in like that, Saiku, what the hell was that? I mean, then Arthas goes down. He was way out of position there, too eager to move in and maybe claim that camp. Now they are fighting 4 versus 3. They have Arthas already coming back, but they are hunted and they're taking a lot of damage. The force wall here was brilliant, by the way. In this case, it really played off. I still can't decide if I like that move or not. Here comes their Spirit on the other hand. Once again, another Resurgence is down. So much Resurgence on that team. Nika being healed. They still survive. But yeah, so they have all 5 heroes up, but they have the Resurgence down. I still can't decide if I like that Force Wall, if I don't like it. I feel like the Archon in those fights would really give a lot of damage to the team, and they could use that. Then again, Archon got a bit nerfed, so do you really want to go for it or not? The Force Wall in 2 scenarios did quite well, but the problem that I have is that in most of the fights that we saw so far, Force Wall didn't do anything. So I feel more and more that it might have been a deliberate move and not a misclick. We see those misclicks every now and then, even in those games when suddenly you want to skill in the middle of the fight, or if you played another hero and then you're trying to use the hotkeys to skill in a heroic, then sometimes you make a mistake like that. But on this map, like in those small encounters here, a Force Wall is not all that bad. So the move that they went for here, we had a couple of nice attacks, but this is now the next night, and this is exactly what we've been talking about. There are 90 seats up for grabs on each side of the map, so up to the top and down to the bottom, which means that we are going to see at least a plan for Team SK Gaming. If they only take the top seats, then it's not going to be a problem at all, man. It's going to be one plan for them and one plan for 3D Max, unless they move down and take one of the bottom. That could, of course, be the case as well. Well, we have the plant now starting to the bottom lane, but we have them moving in. There are still seeds on the top, and those seeds are going to become very valuable. I would like to know if SK goes for them with a plant now. That's going to be an interesting move. Like, which team is going to get those? Because that's going to be an important decision who's going to go for those. Like, just in general, defending with the plant is usually easier than attacking with it. So right now we have the Escape moving in through they want to apparently like core it. They're not going for another keep, they're going straight for the core here. And there's a counter plan against them, of course, but that's a pretty bold move to say like, yeah, we can finish the game right now. Against the triple Resurgence. I mean, the Resurgence is, as far as I can tell, for 2 of those heroes at least, not up. But still, the Escape moves in and tries to go straight for the corner. I mean, look at those stuns. The stuns do a lot of work, but that core didn't do anything just yet. And look, the Escape's plant. Look at that plant. The plant is nearly gone. That move by SK is just not working out whatsoever. Like, that was, I feel, a horrible idea. Like, trying to core it against the counter plan and 5 heroes up. Yeah, that force field backfired. Like, what on earth was he thinking? aAa goes down, is back in a second now, though, thanks to the resurgence. Khaldor! Khaldor is dead for 60 seconds. Psycho is still in the plant. They're pushing them back, but it's a 4 versus 5 now, and that changes things. But that plan for SK was absolutely useless. Like, he moved, the Escape moved in with that, try to take it. BZ with the you see, that's my problem. Like, Force Wall, it just doesn't block enough off. You always seem to have an angle where you can run away, even if you have a very good Force Wall. This one might have been a little bit far to the right, but still, like, Force Wall is very, very tricky to use properly. That Panda, by the way, is very, very low in its current form. But okay. Currently, down to the bottom, what do we see there? 3, 4 heroes still. Psycho, they move up to the top. They try to get the extra seats. I mean, if they get a fair share of them, that would already be great. And yeah, they are starting to move up. So while they are starting to move up to get the rest of the seats, let's look a little bit at the hero damage. Nika and Nazebo, so BZ and Nika, 85,000, both of them, doing a great job here. The two specialists, Hammer and Nazebo, doing a lot of work. The Tacit, on the other hand, 47,000, as much as we see for Araragi right now, and also for the Chen, just as a side note. The fight has now started, and oh, there comes the Force Wall again. This one is a decent one, actually, isolating Araragi for a bit, but it's still helpful for the Nazebo. And down goes the first hero. Brightwing is dead, and Arthas is now dying as well. That team fight that we see from SK is just absolutely brutal, with the Nazebo in the backline doing so much work. And I do not think that Force Wall was a good idea. You saw what I just meant, right? You isolate 3 of the heroes and push them back, but that's exactly what the Nazebo wants. He's in a position where he wants to be. And what does this Force Wall do? Does it really protect a lot? Well, he kills maybe this one off. They killed one off. That, I feel that might have been the idea. You know, that's what we just saw. You usually go for the Zeratul and you go for the Stitches. You try to hook somebody and you put in the Void Prism, and then you isolate a hero and turn it into 4 versus 5. Maybe the Force Wall was supposed to serve a very simple purpose here. Hook a target, try to like block the others from as long as possible so that you can go in and together with the tank take him down. In theory, that's actually like a really nice move that we had, and the execution that we had in the last scene, that was nearly perfect. But for most of the fight so far, I don't think that the Force Wall really did something. Zeratul got banned, so I could understand if they just like thought, okay, which other hero has a chance of fulfilling that role or that use in the game as well. Once again, we have them with 5 against 4 though, and they're taking the camps here. I must say that I kind of enjoy that game. We are 30 minutes in already, and it's a very, very close match. It's an important match for both of them, because they are looking at a very even score in the ranking here at the HCL, and well, Brightwing now at the bottom lane, even going for another Bright. We have only 1 keep remaining for SK, and they are going to lose quite a lot of seats there. That's the extra seats that they wanted to tag earlier. But yeah, I actually really like how we are currently seeing this unfold in front of us. There's a lot of good fights that we had there, but a lot more kills for SK, no doubt about that. That Nazebo is doing a lot of work, and the triple damage dealer comp that they are running is really strong. Another thing, of course, that you should also keep in mind is that the Demolitionist upgrade, or the talent that we see for Nazebo on level 1, that was kind of useless. I don't want to say useless, but at this point it doesn't really do anything anymore. If they start to push the top lane, then yeah, maybe taking the ammunition away here is kind of nice, but it's not going to be a massive advantage for them. Oh, a backdoor attempt against the keep, and they're going to get that. Nice. That was actually a smart move by SK. I like that rotation on the map. This is pretty cool that they went for something like this. So they get the keep here, and the Demolitionist, as you can see, doesn't help them too much. Oh, there comes the stun. The Force Wall once again not doing anything, and Nazebo stunned out. Good job by Khaldor. That was an important one, moving in to get that. We have them moving back for now. They take a lot of damage. Those hooks from Khaldor, they just don't hit in the last 2 encounters that they had there. Nice mini stun once again. Goes to drop the Chen. Where's that? No, it doesn't get the polymorph here. And Chen is now trying to escape. They are already on the run, and a lot of their rogue abilities are down for them. Reign of Vengeance is still up. So, well, there we have them moving down to the left side. And let's see, what exactly can they do with that? Nice. Good job against Escape here with another hook. And do they get them? Napalm on Knickers. Sergeant Hammer is doing its thing. That match like 32 minutes in. Keep in mind that the longer the game progresses, the more those plants, or the more damage those plants will do. They scale over time. Uh-oh! This force wall, again, like blocking a few heroes out, but not doing too much just yet. The Escape is extremely low, but so are the two tanks! Both are down! Stitches and the Arthurs. Down goes the Chen, though. All of them still with the Resurgence. If not for the Resurgence, the Chen would have moved back months ago. Well, that was a great force wall. That dropped actually Araragi, so that one was amazing. Good job there by the Tacita for 3D Max. That was actually a crucial one. Right now, 4 versus 5, this is the time to push. Like, no questions asked. If you want to do some work, then now is the time to do it. Now is the time to move in another force wall. That cooldown on that thing is ridiculous. I mean, what on earth? Cooldown 12 seconds, yeah, force walls everywhere, and ADRD is using them better and better. They only isolated one hero in that fight, but that might be the winning move. That might be exactly the move that they need here. They're starting to move in against that core maybe. They have 28 seconds to finish this game, and they look very determined to do exactly that. The tank, of course, is going to help with that. The force wall once again being set down here, and they're starting to move in. They're starting actually to move up against the keep in the mid lane. Here comes the Annihilating Spirit, BZ all the way in the back. Oh my god, they all cluster up, but they kill the Vala. They kill the Vala, and oh my god, if the Escape dies here, he uses in the last second. He uses the Pandas, he's going for the split, and he loses most of them already. This is looking extremely bad for Escape. The Escape, if he dies, it's over. GG. Hands down, this is not gonna recover. Without the tank, 61 seconds down, I cannot see them win this. I do not see a comeback here for SK. They're trying, they have Aragi, they have BC. Soltro is low, he doesn't have Resurgence up. He's getting healed though, but we have the Arthur's going down. Are they really defending here? Oh my god, like they get the tank as well. I can't believe it. When that Panda died, I was sure that was game. I was 100% certain that that was game, but they somehow had the damage on the Odin to just kill out the Arthurs and take the tank down as well. What a clutch battle there. This, like, without the Panda, all these heroes are so vulnerable right now. If, for example, one just hits a hook, then it's so tricky to do anything here. But of course, it's still 3 versus 3. Nice force wall once again. And well, they need seats. They have one plan. One plan is already there. This game is brilliant. 35 minutes in nearly. And 23 kills versus 12. 3D Max, I feel like they had a chance just now. I really feel they just now had a chance, but now it's more and more seats taken by Team SK Gaming. Are they going to get the plant? Well, they're going to get the plant. The question is, are they going to get the plant in time? They probably will, but here comes the Terra. They're probably starting to move up to the top to take this one. Down here, do we have enough seats on this? I don't think we do. I really don't think we do. If they move in right now and start to like take down Bakery here, they might be able to prevent the plant for SK Gaming. And if that happens, I mean, seriously, if that happens, then I don't know what they can do. Well, maybe backdoor. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. They are looking for the backdoor here. And there's already the TP back. They smelled this one. They already realized, wait a second, something's fishy here. And they're already moving back. This is the only move that they have. The plant is still there. The plant is moving back. But here comes the backdoor attempt. And is there going to be the interrupt against BC? This is going to be the important one. Where's that fucking polymorph? Oh my god, they don't get it. Oh, now 60%. The plant moves in. Down go 2. This is Nazebo. This is Tychus. Link dies as well. 40% on the core. And the Panda is not gonna kill that. Or is he? I don't think so. The Escape? No. 23% on the core. And the Uther Ghost is still hitting it. It's 20%. And there's Bakery. Bakery. Uh-oh. 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 What was he thinking? No! Bakery! What was that? Bakery with a massive brain fart. Oh, well, basically, maybe he was thinking, well, we lost this anyways, but, like, why not TP back? Why go for that multi-shot? Reveal the position. The Panda is moving in. The Escape. He's the lonely wolf, the lonely Panda. He's riding in and trying to take the thing. This is not gonna work. Oh, over here we have at the left side them going straight for that 70%, 60, 50, 40, and they're gonna do it. The Panda is not going to succeed. This is game, ladies and gentlemen. Well played by 3D Max. They defeat SK Gaming at the HCL Playday 8. Game number 2 of the 8th Playday at the HCL, and we have Meteor Makers going up against Whiskey Koka. Both of these teams haven't won a single map yet in the HCL, and that's going to change for one of them. To the left side in blue, we have Kuja on the Malfurion for Meteor Makers, with Yok on the Chen, Luinth on the Arthurs, Daishi on the Hammer, and Aristina on the Abathur, probably going for the W build that he likes quite a lot. To the right side of the map, here on Cursed Hollow, it is Von Till on the Falstad, Tangia on the Uther, Yovel on the Vala, we have Nasty on the Tychus, and Alex the Proc playing the Muradin here for Whiskey Koka. So let's see how that match is going to turn out. The combos that we have are actually quite interesting. We had bans on Stitches and Brightwing, and then a very late pick on the Uther here for Whiskey Koka. They go triple Assassin against the double tank comp that we are seeing for the opponent's team. The Abathur with a mix here for the Sergeant Hammer, which is an interesting choice. So very little copy potential here for him. Can either copy the Arthurs, I guess, or the Hammer, but in terms of damage output or range DPS, there's not very much on the board for Meteor Makers. This could backfire extremely quick. We have already W being picked as the first hill on Abathur. As already said, it's one of the builds that Aristina likes quite a lot, and we're seeing exactly that. And as it turns out, Luinth on the Arthurs is going for block on level 1 and not for the increase on the Frozen Tempest, for the range increase. That's an interesting choice. You don't see that all that often, so apparently wants to make sure that the Arthurs is even more tankier than usual with the double tank that they have. Since they only have like heal over time, that might make sense. Aristina in the mid lane has to soak that lane on his own. Keep in mind that the Locusts don't soak the experience. Like, only if the Locust gets the last hit on the creep you get experience for that, but that rarely happens. I tried it like once to find out how often you usually get that in, and for like 10 or 12 Locusts that you send in, you kill maybe 1 creep, so that is not very good if you want to soak experience. So you can basically say Locusts don't do anything in that regard. It's more the mines and also the symbiote head that's important, as of course the body of Abathur itself. But right now, the bottom lane, that's really where the action is at. And that's where Luinth and Yongjin, everybody is already like pushed back quite a lot. You can really see how, even with the help from Abathur every now and then, Daishi, Kuja and Luinth, they are very hard pressed here. They are playing the Hammer comp, so they want to be the team that is up at the front and starts to dish out damage. And that's not happening at this point. We have already the second talent here up for the opponent's team, which is Whiskey Koka here. Muradin on 1 with a Stormbolt. Very likely that we're going to see a full Stormbolt build for him, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Daishi is once more up at the front. Here comes Nasty. Could go for a grenade once more, of course. Hammer is going for... Ooh, there comes a nice lockdown against Nasty. Oh, and the root. That's, of course, the problem that you have if you're up against this comp, that you can see a Howling Blast into the entangling roots, and that's extremely strong. Now the move in towards the Tribute. 5 versus 4 the levels right now, but of course that's going to equalize in a second. The Hammer is in position, and just look at all that damage with the grenade and everything that we're having here. So I feel that Meteor Makers is starting... I don't want to say that they're having a problem yet, but this is still something where that could already backfire in just a bit. That comp is a strange one, and they might be able to do something with it once that Luinth and York really start to disrupt the backline. And of course that's what they want to do. They want to pressure the backline as much as they can. That Panda and that Arthurs are extremely strong there. It all comes down to the burst. That's the one thing that we really need to see from Whiskey Koka. If you analyze those lineups right now, the damage output is insane on Whiskey Koka with the 3 assassins. So what they need to do in the fight later on, once that their 2 tanks are starting to disrupt the backline, they need to move back a little bit outside the range of the siege tank, and then to just like burst down one target. The shot caller need to make that call, needs to say, okay, listen boys, this is the target right now, and then the DPS has to focus him completely. It's kind of the only thing that they can do here, because, well, with the Abathur alone, there will maybe be a little bit of assistance in form of a shield, but that Malfurion, he won't be able to do anything against burst damage. Against focused damage, there's very little you can do with Malfurion. That heal over time is just not strong enough, even if you go for Tranquility there. So without having like a Brightwing Arthur's Rhaegar or whatnot, it's very tricky to make that happen. Yovel at the front with the damage again. Nasty dodging everything. Good job by him. Very good job. The Envenom not doing enough damage yet. And nearly a level advantage already for Team Whiskey Koka. So we have Von Till up at the top on the Griffin. And the comp for them might be a bit vulnerable to damage to the backline, but I still think that's the superior one here. That draft that we saw from Meteormakers looks a bit weird. Let's see if they can really pull that through. Kuja over there, Lewin at the front. That's, by the way, like what I just mentioned about like the focus is probably one of the reasons why we have Lewin going for the block as well. I guess he thinks that he doesn't really need to have the the Frozen Tempest increase anyways, but with the added block he will be able to maybe live a little bit longer if he gets focused there. So we have one tribute for each team right now. Mid lane is being pushed, and it's pushed hard, especially of course with the full build on Stormbolt here. The Mirrodin can do quite some damage to that as well. Alex is moving in. Tangje is completely locked down, but look at that damage output that they have there. But now York is jumping in too, and that is just too much. Like with him already in the move, there's too many heroes. This is not going to be a good battle for them. Well, now they are finally at the front line, but I feel Tangje is overextending quite a bit here. Trying to chase down the Arthurs is not a good move. And there he dies as well. A bit too greedy on his part. Thought that they might be able to turn this around, but I think retreat would have been the better option there. Just surviving a bit longer. So now they lost 2 heroes and lost their advantage as well. They had an advantage in experience and lost that completely. And we have that tank at the bottom lane doing quite a lot of damage too. I'm not quite sure. I think there was a pretty bad fight that we saw there by Whiskey Koka. I mean, losing the first hero is not really a big deal. That can happen. Like, double lockdown, you're trying to escape, you get, like, that damage in with the Envenom as well. There's, like, nobody to really blame Yovel there. You can argue about position, of course, all day long, but at the end, it's like one of those things when you're squishy, you might be caught out of guard, and that's what happened there. But then the Uther moving in as well, trying to just, like, reclaim that. Not sure if that was the best choice. Oh, good stun! Oh my god! Look at that! It's a slaughter! Holy shit! Oh, that was great. Wow, everything just was like perfect. The rain of vengeance that we saw there, the shock and awe, 3 heroes down and maybe even a 4th. Do they get the panda? It might happen. No, it's not happening, but oh my god. Like that setup. Did you see that? Like Meteormakers, the heroes every direction, and suddenly there were like spells flying in, and they were just clustered up in one tiny spot, and were like they were just looking at the screen, and they were all thinking of them like, oh shit. And yeah, well, now it's time for the boss, of course. Moving up to the boss and trying to catch that. And well, with 5 heroes up, they're definitely going to get this one. And then they might be moving down to the bottom and trying to do the exact same thing over there. We have Tranquility, of course. We have Napalm being used. Like in terms of heroic abilities, it's exactly what you would expect. An interesting build though for Aristina. Not going for the W build as expected, which he used in earlier matches, which he's very fond of, but instead going not even for the mule but for barbed spines and needle spines. So it's more about the damage for him here than anything else, and I guess it's a good choice. It's actually something that I should have picked up on a little bit earlier, that might be something that he would do. So with the build that they have, the lack of DPS, of range DPS, there's an added just like benefit that you have from having the Abathur in the team. Do they try and move in? Yes, the lockdown against Coolja. Now they're trying to go in again. Odin is there. Lewin is about to be bursted. And we were talking about the burst earlier, weren't we? There we have the double tank in the back line, but the first hero already down. Lewin is gone. Muradin dies as well. Are they moving in and trying to take the tank? They move outside of the tank range. Exactly what they needed to do there. Move outside of the tank range. Just get everything in order and then move in again. And that's what they're trying to do here right now. It's a 4 versus 4. And, well, Kuja on the Malfurion is low. They're just welling up right now. Losing the Muradin was a bit of a problem, and then they apparently say, okay, it's not worth it, just like sack it for now. But you could really see how even the Arthurs struggled to survive there, and if the Muradin would have escaped, and for a second it looked like he would be able to, then he could have just like moved in again a few seconds later after heal from the Uther, and I guess then we would have seen a very different fight there. As it is, it's still a pretty even game between them. 4 kills versus 4. We have now 2 tributes against 2, so the next one is going to become one of the most important ones here. Up at the top lane, as we're seeing Von Till moving in right now with the Boomerang. Standard build on the Falstad, Bribe on 1, Gathering Power on 4, on 7, going for the Boomerang build. And then of course like having that dirty rewind on 13, where we have the Arthurs now with the spell shield, obviously, what else would you get if you want to be as tanky as possible, and Relentless on the chat. That is one of those things where of course Uther and also like Muradin stuns are gonna not do anything against him. Oh wow, that jump, they're trying to catch Kuja, and they're gonna get maybe one, yep, one down, and Kuja is about to die as well if he is not getting, okay, like that one stun, that Stormball that we could have seen by Alex, that would have killed him there. But yep, there he goes, yep, he's gonna burst it down as well. And yeah, that's the problem that you have. I mean, we talked about that in the picks and bans. As I said, they don't really make all that much sense. You don't have anything to really unfold the strength of the avatar here. And that's what they're currently dealing with right now. It's too much DPS for Whiskey Koka, not enough DPS for the opponent's team. So the blue team is cursed on top of all of it. And they lost another 3 heroes in the last fight. They lost the tribute, they lost everything in this. So Whiskey Koka is just playing this straight down right now. And yeah, it's getting harder and harder for Meteor Makers to do anything about it. The French caster is apparently already calling it a game and is moving out there. I don't think that we are that far in just yet. There's still a comeback possible. But Irka jumping down, jumping out of the game. So I guess they're gonna restream our stream right now, which is of course perfectly fine. Yobel down at the bottom lane together with the rest of the team just meeting up once more to drop another fort, and they're going already for it. And I really want to see how exactly Meteor Maker's plans is coming back from this. Tanks usually need to be in position for the fight a little bit earlier. It's not as bad as with the Gaslow, but still, you want to be in the position early on. And we saw Copy on the tank earlier, and the double tank in a position for the tribute is nice, but then the only thing that well, Whiskey had to do was move back for a second and move outside of the range and then move in again, and that's what they did. So right now, let's see how exactly Whiskey is going to play this, because Meteor Makers is trying to catch a camp, and they're already starting to move in straight into that tank, and they get the camp, don't they? Yep, nope, there comes the... Uh-oh, I'm not quite sure if that was the smartest move by the Chen there. Oh, look at that! Oh, shook it off! Malfurin is already dead, that means no healer anymore. Tangje is healing and stunning, down goes the Arthurs, here comes the camp, and Yok dies as well. This comp, well, Daishi on the tank, I mean, can you really stop this? I don't see it happen. I mean, right now that wall is gonna fall, and if they push through completely, they might be able to burst down that keep. They should be able to do that with all the damage output that they have right now. Not even the 16 on the Avatar to help him with the triple Locust. The Locust Brute is one of the talents that he desperately needs, but as you can see, he's trying to help recover that fort, or the keep it alive, and that is not really likely. Nasty has to be careful on the other hand, because like, he was standing right in Napalm and also taking a few hits from Daishi. But they take keep and they move back. They even forgot a tower in the back and take that right now. So already on the way back here, and they have Overdrive right now, which is going to make things even worse. They have also the Blood for Blood on the Vala, which is going to help her in the fights to stay alive a little bit longer. And yeah, down to what is Meteor Makers going to do right now? I mean, for them, I really do not know how exactly they could turn the things around. In the last fight, did we even have an Abathur copy? I don't think so. And if he copies, like, I personally, I do not like copies on the tank. In theory, like, it sounds amazing. Like, you have a setup somewhere, you set those tanks in, and then you do the damage. But it's just so easy to outmaneuver that. So, what else do you get? You get the Arthurs against triple assassin. You get bursted down within a second. I mean, you don't even have a chance to get peel for you. So that damage output that we have there just makes that nearly impossible. Tribute is spawning up at the top, and of course, like, Whiskey should fight for that, since we have 2 tributes for Meteor Makers, and that would be Curse. They want to fight that, and they're moving in. That is a good fight. That's the best fight that they could potentially get, Meteor Makers, that is, because now they have the tank in position, and they're starting to use that. Nice napalm that we have there. Good lockdown against Tangje. Still that hit. Kuja is going to be interrupted if Nasty hits it, and there he does. And off we go, stuns coming in, and the shock and awe hitting 3 here, but they don't target properly right now. They need to call one target and burst that down, and they're trying to do that. Nasty is moving away for in the time though, and we have like all of the heroes, like basically for both teams, really low, but the first kill goes against the Chen. That's one of the tanks, and Napalm eliminates 1, eliminates 2. Whiskey on the move back, Vontil flies, barrel roll, oh, he gets away. That was a good one. Tangje and Nasty also escaping. I have to say that for them, the real problem in the last fight, I feel, was really just like the shot calling. There was no target that they really focused on. They didn't have a single target where they just said, okay, we focus this guy down right now. They got basically just like they got split up, and that was what they needed to avoid. They need to make sure that they focus the same target. And now they are cursed. They still are a level ahead, or at least part of it, and they are in a decent spot, so it's not horrible for them yet, but they need to be careful with these fights. They were moving into a tank, and it was actually a fight that started out decent-ish with a good Juggernaut, great Juggernaut actually, like hitting 3 full force with the overdrive. That was a ton of damage, and then they were able to get the Rain of Vengeance in as well. Killed the Chen, but just a bit too late. You just have to be so damn careful that you do not get split too much and that you focus the same target. They need to have somebody in there who says like, alright boys, this is the one that we burst first. We have 3 assassins, they do not have burst heal, they only have heal over time. Take that fool out right now. And I feel one of the best targets that they have, if they really want to burst the tank line, is the Arthurs. Yes, he can heal himself with the Army of the Dead, but he cannot go into the Panda split, and that's very important. He cannot go for something like Storm, Earth and Fire to save himself. So after he starts eating up those ghouls, if you burst him well, and if you maybe even stun him out with Tangje, then you're going to be in a great spot. I mean, for now, let's see. We have like 18 versus 19 in levels. We can also take a quick look at the damage here. Daishi on the hammer with 40,000, and then of course we have the triple assassin for Whiskey with 37, 36 and 36. Aristina is at 25 at least, and of course with 113,000 he takes the siege damage completely. Looking at the heal, we have 37 against 35,000. Once again, burst heal against heal over time. Very, very important distinction here. 11 kills versus 6. There comes the copy on the tank again. The jump in against... Oh, Alex needs to be so careful. Once again hits 3, and there we go. Goodbye, Panda. He didn't even get his ultimate done. It was up. He could have used it, but he died so fast that he didn't stand a chance. Now they hunt down the first and maybe the second target here. Well, yep, that is all going to be the Arthurs, and this is just going to be a complete obliteration. That napalm does a ton of damage, and that's one of the main things that they can, where they can dish out some DPS. But you can really see that even with a copy on the Abathar, that fight wasn't even close. Yes, they got, all of them got quite a bit of damage against them, but why is that? Because the napalm has an area effect, and Tangje nearly going down there. Oh! Be careful that he doesn't killed by a mine, but they get that boss without a problem, and yep, there we have it. So boss for them, can move back, killed 3 in the last fight. Of course the Abathar surviving, and so did Daishi on the tank, but this is starting to look bad. 14 against 6 kills, level 20 now with 1 resurgence, the big red button. We have Blink. Blink is going to be amazing here. I mean, if you get pressured this hard by the 2 tanks that just like rush in and start to pressure the DPS heroes, Blink is just going to be crucial for you to move away and survive, especially of course for somebody like Vala. And for the Falstad, who could have gone for the Blast of Awe, I'd say, considering how well he was doing so far with the CPS. That would have been even more than that. So right now we have them moving in. Oh my god, they catch the... Look! Oh! Wow. They catch him out of position. He doesn't even realize where... He doesn't even hit the Z button. He's just like bursted down within a second. There's another tribute on the map right now. And this is just bad news. This is really bad news for now. 15 kills, no 20 on the board. The tribute about to be taken. Boss, well, down for another 2 minutes. So they're very likely to just like go and maybe burst down a keep at the bottom. And that's what they're already moving in. They're at least going to get the wall here. I mean, there's still the tank down. Just look at their structures. They don't stand a chance. They go down within a second. There's so much DPS on these 3 heroes, the backline, that like the keep is just exploding. Like there's nothing. The keep is bursted down, and well, Meteor isn't even fighting. They're looking at this, they're like, well, we can't do anything. If we move in with 2 melees, and Abathar that doesn't have copy up right now, and what would he copy? There's nothing to copy. Then, well, what can we do here? Nothing. Can he copy the Arthurs? What for? Would be bursted down within a second, would be another melee hero going into that. We have Frost Arrow being skilled by Vala, of course. And that means that all of those melee heroes are being slowed extremely. Well, actually, like all of the heroes are being slowed, but it's going to be it's crucial for the melee heroes, since they just like can't keep up, and you can kite them 6 days to Sunday. And that's exactly what they're doing here. So at this point, it's absolutely crazy. The 20 is finally on the board, and that gives them triple resurgence. And if anything, then that might be one of the things that brings them back. We have still the Tigers at the top lane. Nasty is, well, do they really want to fight without Nasty? I have no clue what they're doing right now, but I would very, very much advise against moving in versus 5 heroes. Okay, so they let them have the tribute and move back, and that's the better decision. Like, without Nasty fighting there, that's a really bad idea. That's how you lose games. Getting overconfident and saying, yeah, we can fight them 4 versus 5, move in without your 5th man, without your DPS, and then suddenly you get 2-3 heroes killed and everything just like snowballs against you. Well, down to the bottom lane, what do we have there? We have still like a bit of a push with Mercam for them. We have at the bottom also like 5 heroes starting to move in. It's more like waiting for a tribute to spawn and for that they pay it patiently. They don't have to attack right now. They already killed 2 keeps. All of their keeps are still alive and breathing. And as long as they just like wait for tribute, they're gonna be fine. I mean, they expect the next one to be down here. They already check out where exactly their opponent could be. They want to go for the boss as well, and they're starting to burst that already. Did they see the copy on the tank earlier? If they did, then they know that the aAa is not gonna have a copy up in time for this, and they just get another golem. And Meteor Makers is just waiting. They have very little to do right now. They cannot move in up against that. It's just like waiting to die. It's, I think they're just moving in with the boss and deciding to take that. If I was them, I wouldn't give I wouldn't give a damn about that tribute at the top. I'd say like, yeah, have fun with that tribute. It's not even a cursed tribute. We're gonna go down and wait for the boss, and then we're gonna take you out. Tank or no tank, good luck with that, sir. And even if we move back, you have to take copy on the aAa. And once that you have that, we'll be in a position where we can just move back and you won't be able to do any damage against us in the next fight. So right now, boss is moving in. They are looking for an opportunity. Who's gonna get bursted first? They're stunned, and look at the damage against the Malfurion. Goodbye, and the Arthas is dead as well. Resurgence is gonna help with that. But did you see how fast that Malfurion died? He tried to kill Aristina on the aAa, but he got away, and that's now the burst up against the against the core, and that's GG. Meteor Makers gets outpicked in the draft, and we have Whiskey Koka with their first victory in the HCL. Congratulations to them, and well done.